Hello everyone,
Oh, right.
welcome to Call It Crits. Right, hopefully I've got you guys on there. I mean, I can hear you, but it's not saying that you're on, but you're there. Hope everyone's alright, and we're all good. If you could all just say hello for me, just so I can double check that my Discord mic is working.
Hello.
Hey, they can hear you. Wonderful. Right, so, last week's session was a nice bit of a downtime session where we spent a little bit of time conversing with 4 metallic dragons, part of the metallic order. The order of metallic dragons that Dondon himself was a part of as well. It was taking place after Dondon's funeral. You found out some information regarding how Valerie, or now known as Vectra, how she had previously, well, not survived, but how she had gone this long without sort of being monitored, I guess. Where she was, she was apparently killed by Omnia, one of the bronze dragon, but wasn't, and he was just as surprised as everyone else. So that sort of came about. Afterwards, you all sort of like went and did sort of different things. Raljin, Morwin, you guys headed back to the Morwin and Ayla decided to do some reading. And find out some information regarding Ayla. It was all about the Wild Mother, Melora, and Morwin. It was you were doing a lot of reading regarding, what was it again?
Reading about elemental earth cults and elemental earth magic.
That was the one, yes. And sort of like why someone might summon a Zorn or several Zorn to this plane. Raljin, you headed back to your estates, where you found Dosky raiding the fridge, or the larder. I do apologise, don't have fridges. And you basically told him to go home.
I never said anything. I never said anything.
You delivered the food that he was getting for your sister via Talking Cat. Garoth got a dark ale named after him, the Triple Giant Slayer, which he found pretty good. We kind of moved into the next morning. Korvax, you woke up and did some chores at the Temple of Ioun, which was helping in your favour. You met the I've forgotten her name. I've got it written down somewhere. But you met the elven, half elven cleric, I guess, of Ioun, who was also working there, doing some different jobs. And then we're sort of cutting fast forwarding through the morning. You guys would all be now heading towards the Temple of Cord, because Garoth has challenged Paolo Samper, one of the guards within the Ashenoak, sort of like guard, I guess you might want to call them, the Whitewood Defenders, who patrol and sort of like keep the lizard men out of the Whitewood. And from chopping down the Whitewood trees. But one of his biggest claims to fame is that he himself has bare-handedly fought a bear. And he is very proud of that. He tells everyone about it. We're gonna push straight into you guys arriving at the Temple of Cord. It's midday, and some of the other residents of Ashenoak have actually been told about this fight that's been going on, and it's there's a lot of people are sort of coming and starting to take bets on who they think might actually win this fight. You see, there's kind of like a scrawny guy. He's wearing like a flat cap and like a real a suit that kind of only just fits over his frame, and he's got like bits of paper in his hand. And he's taking bets and handing out tickets to those, and he's got like a little box that sort of comes around and hangs around his neck where he's keeping coin. As you guys are walking in, as you know, he sees Garroth, he sees you walking in, and he just kind of goes, got a lot of bets on you today, but unfortunately there's quite a lot going on Paolo. You see, they've seen him fight. They've never seen you fight. I think most of the people, they're placing bets on you due to your size. Good luck in there.
Oh, thanks. I'm immediately, as soon as you walk away, go to Korvax. I'm just going to take my purse of gold, give it to him, and just sort of say, bet on me.
I was going to anyway.
All right, no, I meant with my money, so that, I can get money out of it. You're allowed to bet on me too.
Well, obviously. How much is in your coin purse?
372 gold pieces, 1,250 silver pieces, 70 copper pieces.
I'll take...
Oh, and
30 gold. I'll take 10 platinum. And I'll give you your coin purse back.
Odds on this fight are straight 2-1. Whatever you pay in, you get back double.
Before we start this fight, I didn't level up. So I'm just going to quickly roll a d12.
Okay.
Wait, wasn't that 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, but I didn't do it last week, and I was in London the week after.
Oh,
yes.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah. It would help if I got my notes out for my game.
So
8 on dice, so that is an additional 10 hit points.
Okay. Anyone else? Would you like to place any bets?
Yeah, I'll match Korvax's bet. I'll put 10 platinum on that.
10
So
platinum?
I'm doing 2 bets, so 10 platinum for Garroth.
Okay.
And I'm doing I've only got 8 gold, so I'm going to do 8 gold for myself.
Right. So 8 gold.
I mean, I don't know why he's surprised that I'm betting that kind of money.
Good point. So Raljin, 10 platinum. The Goblin, 8 gold. Any of you others want to bet?
Alar steps forward. I believe in my associate Garroth. I will put down 10 gold coins.
Ooh, Alar. 10 GB. Anyone else? Come on.
2 questions, Bill.
Yes.
2 questions. So, what is Shekinesta's understanding of chord? Am I feeling comfortable in this temple?
You'd be fine. Yeah.
Okay.
Shekinesta's not, she doesn't dislike other gods. It's, I think it's just the ones that rival in, that sort of like have a contrast in belief, such as, like, for example, Ioun, where it's the difference in how knowledge is collected and distributed. Whereas chord, it's pretty much worthiness in battle. And Shekinesta's indifferent.
Fair enough. Morin is not going to bet because it is against Morin's personal belief set.
Okay.
However, I am going to say a word or 2 of encouragement to Garroth in a language he doesn't understand, which is a fair amount of them. And then I'll tap him on I'm 3 foot tall. So I go, pick me up, Garroth.
All right.
And then I'll tap him on the shoulder, and I'll cast guidance on him for his first attack.
Okay. How long does guidance last?
A minute, I think.
A minute. Okay.
Quick, Garroth, sprint! Run into battle.
I'll walk up to the edge of, I assume it's like a fighting pit or an arena or something.
Yeah, and it's not packed out by any means, but it's there's maybe about 3 dozen people in here, so about 30 something. They're kind of. In fact, I'll show you the map actually. So we'll jump into here. So here's the map that we've got. Oh, you can't see it. Hang on a second. I better actually show you guys, hadn't I? So here is the map when it comes up. So this is it's a small arena. Picture sort of like around the edge. You've got about 3 dozen people that sat around. Sort of like some of them have got little tickets in their hand after they've been placing their bets. And you guys are actually guided up, and there's like a watching box which you head on up the stairs, and you can watch from above. And Camden and is up there as well as Vidiana and Relan are up there as well. They've come to watch. You see Coda. He's not up here. He's actually down in the stands somewhere, but he's actually watching from the stands as well. There's quite a few people have come here.
Those spikes on the edge, or
no, there's no spikes or anything. It's not viciously decorated. It's it's Temple of Cord. It's a fighting pit.
You don't have death pits in Ashenok.
No, it's no death pits.
So before I jump in the arena, I'm just gonna make double check, sure. So what is the rules for this fight?
Well, as you walk in, you see Paolo is he's chalking up his hands. He's not got a shirt on, and he's just he's kind of like flexing himself, getting himself ready, doing a bit of stretches. He walks up to greet you in the middle.
Well, I haven't jumped in yet.
Right, okay. So who are you asking specifically?
Is there someone nearby, a referee or someone watching?
There's a guy. One of the clerics from the temple. He's there. He's coming to oversee this. It's like okay. The rules are it's hand-to-hand combat. So pretty much anything goes. No weapons. You may grapple and hold your opponent. It's the first to basically tap out. So when you feel like you can't take any more, once you tap out, then you lose the game, and the person who is still standing is the victor, and would earn the favour of Cord on this day. What else? Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Anything goes as long as you're not using weapons. You can use, however, anything that you can see, and you kind of look into the pit. There isn't much, but it's a sort of a sandy, stony ground that's like loose, kind of like sand with small pebbles in it on the ground. That's pretty much it. There's nothing else around. You can scale the walls if you want to get the upper hand on your opponent. Not entirely sure. The walls themselves are sort of like come up to about 15 feet until you hit the actual stands where people are sort of like sitting over and watching. But I say anything goes. However, no killing. That's a big one. Obviously, do not kill your opponent.
So it's fight till someone says uncle.
Absolutely.
Or unconscious. Right, got you. I'm good. Right, and so I'm gonna see here. He's taking off his shirt and he's doing little stretches.
Yeah.
I'll do a couple of clenches of my muscles. I'll take off my shoulder pads and take off like my battle belt sort of thing. So I'm just in my trousers and my boots.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm gonna go through my belt, pull out a little pot, and get some sort of black liquid and put war paint on my face.
I like it.
And then I'm going to get into a rage. And I'm just going to jump into my pit and go, all right, let's fight.
You, as you jump into the pit, Paolo steps forward and says, I see that you've adopted your mask, as I see it were, with your face paints. Let me show you mine. He steps forward. He kind of presses his feet down into the ground and kind of adopts a fighting stance. One of his hands extends out. The other hand comes over, goes over his face, and as he peels his hand back around from sort of his nose to the back of his head, you notice a wooden bear mask sort of materialize as he pulls his hand over his face.
I would have thought that was cheating. That's kind of armour for the face.
And as he does that, He says, right then, let's do this. Roll for initiative.
All right, it's all coming down to this. Come on. Okay. 14. I'm guessing this guy's a fucking monk. He's gonna go first.
He's rolled a 22.
Yeah, I saw that coming.
So yeah, he will be going first, and this is going to be testing my skills on being a monk. So let's see how this goes. The first thing he's going to do, as you stand on opposite ends of this fighting pit, he's going to run straight at you. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. And he's going to immediately going to go for a gut punch. So first attack, and we'll go for. Okay, that is an armored strike. That is a 21 to hit.
Yeah, that'll hit.
Yeah. If you've kept some parts of your armor on, haven't you? What is your AC at the moment?
So I assumed because he took his shirt off that we were told no armor.
Yeah, but you have unarmored defense, so you being a barbarian, you don't need to wear armor.
Oh, it's not going to be as good as him.
Oh, no.
I basically have an AC of, I think at the moment, 12.
Okay, yeah, his is better than yours. So that's so first attack and oh, that's not too bad. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points of damage. So you take 5, and it's halved, so that is 3 points of damage. He then goes in for his second attack as he goes in it, and then he takes his other hand, comes around, and almost like a bear's claw comes around and goes to hit you just below the ribs on the other side. I think that's still going to hit. That is 12 to hit.
Yeah, that still hits.
Yeah,
12.
yes. Yep, you take another point. Well, it's 6 half down to 3.
Yep.
And then he's going to. Yeah, he then takes a step back and uses his bonus action to take a defensive pose. And that's
patient defense.
yes, patient defense.
Oh, no,
Right.
it's all, dude. I'm gonna look at him, spit a little bit of blood onto the ground, and go like, "Not bad, my turn." So I'm gonna run in, and I'm gonna negate patient defense by doing fucking reckless.
Okay.
So I'm gonna go in for my first attack, which is still a nice 25.
25 will definitely hit. Yeah, roll for damage.
I don't need to. It's 8.
8. Oh, it's just your strength, isn't it?
Strength plus 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you, he takes it, and kind of, and yeah, you can see him kind of, he turns his head and spits some blood out into the ground. I'm assuming you've got another attack.
Oh, yep, I've got another attack. I'm going to use my extra attack, and instead, I'm going to do a grapple attack.
Okay. Right.
I'm doing a shove.
A shove. Okay.
Basically, I do an attack. If I succeed, he becomes prone.
Okie dokie. Hang on 1 second. Yeah, that can definitely happen. Go for it.
That is 24 to hit.
24 hits. Yeah, roll for damage.
Well, no damage. He's just now I've knocked him onto the floor.
Okay, he's down on the ground.
With the elbow of justice as I do an action surge, and I jump up in the air, elbow him, and like get him right in the chest while he's on the ground. And I gain advantage because
He's on the ground.
yeah, and that is 23 to hit,
Yeah, that will hit. Roll for damage.
but no damage. It's 8.
8. Yeah, good point. I have to remember that. Right. So he takes another 8 points of damage. Let me just take note of that. So that's 16. Right. As you come down.
Morin is going to use an ability. You know,
Yeah.
like in fighting games where you hear like brutal, awesome. I'm going to use my my new dragon ability where I can make my voice audible to 300 feet. And every time that Gareth strikes a good hit, it's going to be like awesome damage, like just basically cheering him on.
I like that. And every time you do that, it kind of riles the crowd up a little bit. And you actually see more people begin to enter through the doorways as they're drawn in by the sound of what's going on. And you hear there's like, whoa, cheers from the edge. And you actually see the, for you guys from the top, from looking down, you see the guy who's taking the bets. People are going up to him to take late bets. And you can probably guess why.
By the way, just before anything else,
yep.
When Mulrin starts doing this, Yarn is going to use Minor Illusion to create a number that goes up every time Gareth takes a hit. Gives a hit without taking one.
Okay. As you come down, you crack him on his ribs. He goes, "Ah, nice hit." And he kind of rolls out to the side. Gets himself back onto his feet. He has his half movement, but then his movement is 45 feet.
15 because he had to get up.
Yeah, exactly. So he's going to get up, and he's going to go for an attack. And okay, unarmed strike. That is. Oh, it's going to miss. He goes in, and as he goes to punch you, it was a 5 on the dice, so it's. Yeah, still miss. As he goes to punch you, he kind of goes, ah! As you, one of the ribs that you kind of cracked, and he kind of fumbles down and misses. Kind of almost tickles your balls a little. But misses. And then goes, ah! And then he's going to kind of recover himself and go for an uppercut. That's going to hit. That is an 18 to hit. Mm-hmm. Okay. That is... 8.5 to 4 points of damage, and then he's going to, he's going to use flurry of blows. So he's going to attack you 2 more times. So that one's a hit, and that's 6 points of damage. So 12 halved. Next one is another hit. And that is 3 points of damage, 6 halved.
Yeah, so
right.
15 damage.
Yeah. And then he's going to... That was his spending his key point, which is his bonus action. So yeah, that's his turn. He's going to just stand there and wait for your response as he kind of punches you and then suddenly kind of goes into rapid fire, punching you in the stomach, and each one hurts. But you're standing your ground. It's your turn.
Yeah, I'm just gonna look at him and go. I heard you punched a bear. Let me ask you something. Did the bear hug you? And I'm gonna run and do a grapple, which will be the sort of bear hug.
Give me a strength check.
Well, that's a 19 on dice.
Oh, so. Right, okay. So for him, what is the total?
19 plus. Well, no. To initiate the grapple, I've succeeded. Yeah. Right.
A grapple is a contested strength check, so it's just.
That is 30.
Yeah, that's gonna hit. His strength is high, and he rolled quite high. That's why I wanted to know. Even on strength saving throws, he gets a +8, and he rolled 26. So, so yeah, it was important. Anyway.
Right. So I've bear hugged him. He's trapped arms, and then I'm just gonna go like, let's go. Oh damn! I didn't think of something clever there. I'm saying that's in character. See if you can bear with this, and then I'm going to sort of jump up in the air with him in my arms, and basically just jump and throw myself to the floor using him as a cushion. As a grab.
Yeah, I mean, he's grappled, and you do this as an action. So I'm going to say it takes the damage as you kind of throw him into the ground, and you kind of hear a crack that's kind of almost audible throughout the entire fighting pit. His mask, as you notice, as you're doing this, the mask that he wears over his face doesn't move, and you can't actually, because you're quite close, you see there's no straps or anything holding this thing on. You've all seen Squid Game, haven't you? Picture, the gold masks that the VIPs wear. The bear one of that. It kind of looks like that, but only it's kind of wooden and tribal in design. Okay. Is that your turn?
That is my turn.
All right, he's going to. You're still grappling him here, aren't you?
I'm still grappling him, so he needs to do either an acrobatics or an athletics check. So
Yeah.
strength athletics or dex acrobatics to break the grapple.
Yeah. So.
Supreme grapple.
Okay. He's not going to try and break out the grapple. He's just going to keep you close. He's going to take his hands and he's going to kind of come out in a kind of a chopping action and he's going to chop into your ribs. 1 second, the dog wants letting out the room.
Disadvantage if he makes an attack while grappled.
So that, yeah, it's disadvantage. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Not
because I've got 12 AC, but
yeah, exactly. That's gonna hit. It's only just gonna hit. He's rolling shit on his dice. So he kind of brings his hands out and he goes and chops right upwards into your ribs. And he's going to use his Hands of Harm. So not only do you take 5 points of damage, but you also take, that is 7 points of necrotic damage.
Ooh, that's an evil martial art, though.
That is, pardon?
That's an evil martial art.
It's
though.
not actually. This is one of the.
Oh, the healing Hands of Harm. Yeah, yeah. I'm confusing with the necrotic.
Way of the Long Death.
That's it. Yeah.
No, it's not. It's not Way of the Long. This is the Way of Mercy.
The Way of Mercy.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
So yeah, you take necrotic damage. He can do the healing hands, but this is the Hands of Harm that he just and you start to feel the necrotic energy kind of coming in through your ribs. He's then going to attempt to break free. Hang on, it's a contested strength roll here, isn't it?
Yep.
So yeah, roll.
Okay, that is 29.
Yeah, he's gonna fail. He rolled really awfully. I didn't really have to have you roll, but just for kicks. So yeah, he fails to get out of it. So yeah, that's gonna be his turn. So it's back around to your turn.
Right, I am going to grapple him still, but I'm going to switch to grapple as I loosen it a little bit, slide down, go to my knees and grab his leg. And then I'm just going to do a Hulk versus Loki on him.
Okay.
I'm going to swing him and bat him across the blooming ground.
Okay. Give me an attack roll on that then.
So, first one. Ugh. Do I have No, I don't have advantage, do I?
No.
Oh, 15?
15 just hits.
Oh, okay, that's 8 damage. And higher, so another 8 damage.
Right. Oh shit. Shit. He's starting to look a little bit weary as you kind of hit him into the ground and he slams there. And he's just laying there on the ground, and he's looking a little bit like he's kind of struggling to get up. You hear the crowd now beginning to cheer, like, Paolo, 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 and trying to cheer on to trying to get him to get up. But you can also hear another half of the crowd going, half orc, because some of them don't know your name, but they're just sort of cheering for the fact that you're winning. Paolo's
Owen
gonna
will use his voice to shout Garroth really loud again. Garroth, Garroth, Garroth.
As you're doing that, the crowd that are screaming half orc begin to change their chant into Garroth, Garroth, Garroth. And as you do that, actually, as he hit the ground, you thought you heard a crack of thunder in the distance. Okay. He's going to get himself up off the ground, and so he will be. He's still within like 5 feet of you here. He'll be on the ground. So he's going to use his. No, actually, no. He's going to attack you. First attack, natural 20. Yay!
Okay.
Ah, double ones. So that is 2 plus 4, 6, 3 points of damage on a natural 20. 3 points of damage. That could have been so much better. His second
punched me in the face, and I was going. Oh, that actually hurt.
His second attack, natural 1. So he goes in, he gets a really good hit off, barely does any damage, and you can tell he's starting to weaken now as he kind of goes down. And he goes for his second attack, but kind of loses all momentum with his hit and just kind of flies down and kind of cockles over himself and kind of lands onto the ground. He's looking at you like... You can see his eyes through the bear mask. You can see blood sort of trickling down his chin. He looks beat. Let me just see if he can do anything else. He can use his bonus action. Yeah. Yeah, he's going to use his bonus action to recuperate himself. So he's going to... He's not done. He's going to use his bonus action to disengage. And
He's grappled, he can't.
Pardon? No, he's not grappled anymore. You threw him to the ground.
No, I said I was holding on to his leg.
He'll have broken off that. You'd have to make a strength check to do that. It's so yeah, he'll have he's going to use his bonus action to disengage and move his full movement 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, getting right up against the wall down here to get away from you at this point to try and recuperate, see if he can get himself out of this situation. He's kind of looking wary. And he knows that he's about to be beaten, but he wants to see if he can give himself a chance. You can see that almost desperation in his eyes, but tactful at the same time. Your turn.
All right, I'll see him. I will realise he punched me in the nose. And I'm like, oh, you made me bleed. Respect. And then I'm charging for him. I'm not going to be any subtle about this. I'm running right at him.
Okay. With your full movement, what is your full movement? Because it's only 30 feet, isn't it?
But it is only 30 feet.
So
However, we've done it before. I can jump.
You can jump. Yes, you have to run at least 20 feet first, and then you can jump a distance of... Oh, God, I've tried to... Is it 20 feet?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, he doesn't realise this at all. So you're kind of there, and you can start running towards him. He thinks, all right, I've got a moment to recuperate. You go 5, 10, 15, 20, then just jump into him.
Smash!
You see a look of oh shit on his face. Roll me your attack as you fly in with your fist.
He didn't do patient defense, did he?
No, he didn't. He used his bonus action to disengage.
But it's reckless attack. Not a crit, but 18 on dice plus 29. That hits.
Okay. With that, you run in, and he's kind of there. You can see his hands go up to attempt to block the punch as you just come in, this flying streak of green coming towards him. He just kind of goes, ah, fuck. You smack him in the face. You kind of hit the wooden mask on his face, which stays intact. And with a force hit like that, you probably would have expected to break something like that. But you kind of hit it and smack him down to the ground. He kind of hits the ground. You can see his arm like... His hand goes up as if to give in, goes, and then taps the floor, and then you just hear, "Winner! Gareth the Half-Orc!" come from the side, and yeah, the crowd begins to go wild. You hear some people like, "Ah!" But yes, you have defeated Paolo Samper in the Temple of Cord. As Paolo's hand sort of comes into the air and he kind of does a tap down on the ground, you hear that sound again. That sound of thunder roaring in the distance.
I think Cord saw my battle, and now I scream at the sky for a bit.
You see Paolo kind of crawling to his feet and goes, and he kind of puts his hand on his face and kind of pulls back the mask. And as he pulls it back and comes over the back of his head, it's gone. And he kind of places his hand on his thing. He reaches out to shake your hand. That was a good fight. Well done.
That was a good fight. You made me bleed, which is respectable. And I will take his hand and I will But I like the forearm sort of thing. So the bond of warriors sort of handshake.
I'm not gonna lie, you definitely hit harder than a bear. Oh, oh. I think Cord was watching.
Yeah, I think he was. That's why I screamed at him. Or to tell him to go fuck himself, because that's how you worship Cord.
Certainly not a way that I've ever worshipped him before, but okay. Should we do it again? Go fuck yourselves! He shouts into the air.
You do a thunder in response.
There is a slight rumble in the distance. As the fight finishes, and you guys are kind of get up onto your feet and sort of bring it together. Raljin, give me a perception check.
Perception check. My perception is 19.
19. As the fight finishes, you're sort of like you're joyous in the revelation and the celebration of everything that's gone on, but you are distracted for a moment. Well, sort of like you're distracted from the moment as you kind of look up in the sky and you see what appears to be sort of like it looks like a black cloud on the distance, and then as it gets closer and closer, and you can hear it. There's a large flock of darkwing birds flying over, and this begins to sort of like fly over this like one at a time. No formation, just coming over the top. It's not familiar. It's not usual the way that they're flying over. Almost like they're going away from something. You then notice. Sorry?
Say, avoiding the predator?
Not quite. There's not that much panic. It's almost like they're moving away from something. You then notice something a little bit more alarming. A slight breeze kind of lifts off from the direction of the Whitewood, carrying with it leaves. One or two begin to fly past, eventually, within the wake of the birds flying off into the distance. And soon, within minutes, the whole of the Temple of Cord is almost full of leaves, crispy and dead. No one else, I mean, you guys seem to see this as, it's almost like the rains of autumn have sort of come in, but very rapidly. Camden looks at you, Raljin, and says, "That doesn't look good."
Oh.
To the tree. We need to get to the tree. He quickly and looks panicked, jumps down from his seat and runs down the steps in major haste. What do you do?
I follow. I don't wait for the others. I just whistle for Lynx and take off.
All right, Lynx follows you. Anyone else? What are you guys doing?
I'm Maureen will run after him.
So
But
Maureen
if people-
follows. Yeah.
If I see everyone fleeing, I'll sort of say, Oliver's got to go, and I'll quickly get up and grab me gear and say, like, rematch sometime.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. Strange weather.
I'd have probably missed that. I'd have gone to collect our winnings. So as soon as it looked as though it was over, I'd have scuttled off. So I probably wouldn't have seen any of that.
Okay, so what you do notice, actually, is as you go down to collect your winnings and away from this, you notice the change as the leaves begin sort of like fall in and start to fill the floor of this Temple of Cord. What was once gravel and sand is now like dark brown leaves that begin to sort of like gather in corners. Raljin, as you begin to run out after your father, and Malvin as well, as you do the same, and I'm guessing Alar and Yarn would do the same. As you guys sort of like follow Vidiana and Relan, you notice the streets themselves as well are starting to fill with leaves. in the corners, making piles. Some children are sort of like innocently beginning to make piles of leaves and play in them as if it's something fun, something unusual. But the way that Camden, your father, is making his way and leaving through here, you can tell that this isn't usual. This isn't fun. He's making quite a march, and it's about a 5 or 10 minute walk, or run, I guess, until he gets to the tree, which I do have the name of. I'm going to get it now because it's important. It's the fair something. 1 second. Ba-ba-da-ba. Come on. Sorry, stupid notes. Tree. There we are. Right. Okay. Oh, why is it not working? iPad giving up on me. Okay. I'll have to do it later. You go to the tree, and Camden sort of like runs and comes around the corner, and you see the Temple of Elistray. Oh, sorry, not Elistray. The Temple of Melora in front of it. And you kind of stop, and you see Camden kind of run and come to a skid, and you almost bump into him as he stops, and he looks up, and the sight strikes you and hits you immediately. There's something wrapped around it that wasn't there before. It's almost like a dark ivy that's coming out of the ground. Its leaves are like almost like red pointed holly, which has come out of the ground and is curved around every single branch, has now been wrapped in this dark, prickly ivy. That seems to have just grown out of nowhere. The tree you notice some of its branches have broken off and fallen down to the ground. Camden turns to you, Ralgin, and says, "Get the axe! Help me now!" He runs, and he goes into the temple and knows where the things are, and he grabs an axe. He throws one to you, Ralgin, and says, "Cut it off at the roots. Do it. You have to stop this." And he begins to start chopping. Just at any of the like where this ivy, I guess you can call it, is beginning to grow from. Give me well, are you doing so?
Yes, but as I do so, I want to see if, because I would have studied the history of this forest, it would have been part of my lessons.
Mm-hmm.
So I would like to also try and think of any stories, mythology related to the Ashen Oak trees and their supposed relation to the Feywild and any enemies that they, as magical trees, may have.
Okay, give me history, but with disadvantage because of what you are doing in this moment, in the rush and the panic.
Would it not be straightened out because this is my home? This is essentially what I'm going to inherit one day.
I'm gonna say no, because Camden could do exactly the same thing, but he's concentrating more on actually chopping this thing off and getting it off. I'm gonna say roll a disadvantage because of the rush nature of what you're doing.
Okay. Oh, god damn it! What a waste.
What'd you get?
So it's history check I'm doing, is it?
Yes.
History is 14.
14.
Would it be a nat 20? But no.
Nah. No. In this moment, it doesn't come to you as the fear that your father is emanating on this situation is kind of rubbing off on you in this moment, and all you can really think of is get the axe and chop this stuff off. There are other axes that have now been sort of got out as Camden sort of gave the order. A lot of the other civilians sort of come and sort of bringing sort of hand axes and large axes to help them sort of chop this stuff off. So they're sort of being given out, and you see some of the other people sort of coming around and attacking this ivy that's growing on the tree. Yeah, give me, Raljin, if you're going to do this, give me an attack roll on this stuff. It's nice and easy.
I don't think it's that easy. God damn it. What is wrong with my rolls tonight?
Get your critical roll dice out.
It is my critical roll dice.
Oh no! They've lost their magic.
I'm using strength art. Oh no, I'm ranger, so I can use dex.
Yeah. Only with weapons that are versatile, I believe.
It doesn't matter anyway. It's gonna fail. It's a 3.
A 3, yeah. No, your first swing, you kind of go and you rather than missing, it's more of a as you go to swing, you think you're gonna hit the tree, and you don't want to do that. So you kind of stop yourself and kind of pull your axe back again, and go again. You see your dad. He swings at one of them, and he kind of chops it off right at the roots. It begins to fall off. He chops it at the top, and he chops it at the bottom, and this bit falls off. The leaves and things sort of hit the ground and begin to sort of like disintegrate as they hit the ground. As it almost turns to dust and begins to sort of float away in sort of like a dark green, black, and red powder. As it does that, it begins to almost then sort of seep back into the ground, and the ivy then begins to grow again very rapidly back up the tree and begins to strangle it once more. Camden just kind of looks and says, "What is this?" He goes again. It's absolute panic. I
stop chopping, put the axe, sort of like dig it into the dirt, and I try and center my mind and focus on my lessons, because if digging it out's not going to work, I need to think of something else.
Okay.
More in assist at all?
If you're going to be there, yeah. If you see Raljin kind of stop, you can approach him and have a quick discussion with him about this. So yeah, roll with advantage, Raljin.
Not necessary.
Okay. Nat 20.
Nat 20.
Okay. You have a think, and there isn't much that sort of comes to mind from your lessons specifically. It's more about when you've sort of like done your own independent reading regarding this tree. And I wish my bloody notes were working. But yeah, when you think about it, there's you realise that its origins, its roots, spread out through the Feywild. They're not, the roots themselves don't actually extend. They extend beyond this plane, and through into the Feywild. And whatever's this thing that's strangling us, this thing that's wrapped around the tree, you kind of extend your mind and your knowledge beyond this realm, this plane, into what might be something from the Feywild, or its opposite, Shadowfell. This is Shadow Ivy. Specifically, Blood Needle Shadow Ivy. Highly poisonous, grows with malicious intent, and essentially kills any living thing that it wraps around. As you're thinking about this, you notice one of the civilians who was chopping suddenly gets some of it wrapped around his arm. He goes, "Ah! What do you do?"
I will try to cut it off without cutting his arm off.
Okay. So you notice the ivy and the leaves, like the holly style leaves with those red points, are digging into his arm, drawing blood immediately and making his arm go black and blue. Give me an attack roll. Is it 10? It's weaving around quite a lot, and as you go to hit it, it kind of in his panic, he's moving it away and out of the way, and you just miss it with the axe, or with your sword, or whatever you're attacking with.
I'd just like to shout out to whoever's listening. I don't really know which of my party members are here. I'll just say, get Dad off his arm without taking his arm off if you can. Dad, this isn't gonna work.
Okay, you do that. Is anyone going to do what Raljin has requested?
Are we there?
Mulrin is going to attempt to. So, can I make my own nature check to assess if I understand the principles of this ivy?
You can certainly try.
Okay, I get a +7 to nature. Bear with me.
And yes, Garroth, you will have arrived at this point. With a lot of people with axes chopping at this black, dark green, very vicious looking ivy that's creeping its way up and around all the branches of this very old tree.
Chop down vines, right?
What was that, sorry?
A 22.
I'm just going to shout out, chop down vines, right?
Camden just shouts, yes! Chop the vines!
Alright, I bring out justice.
Right.
Without cutting down the tree.
Mulrin, we're just going to go to you really quickly. 22. So, with a 22, you know of, from your reading, and correct me if I'm wrong, you're Fey touched, right?
Yes.
You are. So, you know this is something that is not particularly... it's not Fey touched, it's the opposite. This is...
Shadow touch.
Yeah, this is shadow touched. The way that it disintegrates when you look around, the way that it disintegrates in the when people chop it, it gives off almost like a shadowy, almost like flow to it as it disintegrates and goes back into the ground, and then all of a sudden starts to shadow tendrils crawling out and beginning to grow once more. You will know this as blood-tipped shadow ivy. As well, and it's you've never come across it before. You've never left the prime material plane, so you've never come across it before. But from what you've probably read about it in little bits, it's not nice stuff.
Is there an obvious source of where it's coming from? Is it growing from like a specific point in the grounds?
It just seems to be growing out from the roots of the tree.
Okay. And there's no obvious marking as to like a separation of where the ivy is from the root of the tree.
No. All you can sort of see is it's coming out the ground where the roots of the of this tree are growing up. You can just see it's coming out of the ground from where the roots of the tree are. Same ground. You can't really. It's coming out from several different points. Right.
So as a bonus action, I'm going to cast Spiritual Weapon, and I'm going to shape it into an axe serpent, and start chopping at the base of the tree, not at the tree itself, but the roots coming up from the base of it.
Okay.
And with my action, I'm going to grab a piece of material, possibly from another village, and just like rip it off their shirt, and I'm going to attempt to apply it around the shadow vine, like at a central point, which is on this guy's arm.
Okay. And in hopes to...
I'm going to attempt to inflict wounds on it, but I don't want to touch it myself directly, and I also don't want to touch the guy.
Okay. As you do so, and this is a hard one actually, because inflict wounds
is a necrotic spell.
And it's... hang on. Okay. It doesn't work.
I had a feeling it wouldn't.
Make a melee spell attack against a creature. This isn't a creature. This is a plant, and it's attacking this tree. So yeah, you can kind of gather that inflict wounds isn't working because it's not a creature that you're targeting.
Okay, so it doesn't have a stat block then.
in a way, you can do damage to it, and it has sort of like an AC based on the fact that it's a tree or a plant that can move in its own right, but it's not technically a creature. It doesn't have intelligence.
Okay.
So as you so as you go to do that, it doesn't do anything. Gareth, what were you doing?
He told me to cut vines. I'm going to cut vines.
Are you cutting just the vines on the tree, or are you going to do what you see Morin doing and getting the vines off this guy's arm?
He needs the help, right? And he did say get it off quick, right?
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just taking his arm off.
Yeah, that's how that come in.
Yeah. So you can see he's like and actually as you see the blood tips digging into this guy's arm, you notice almost like a black energy sort of seeping out from it as well, which doesn't look very good. Give me an attack roll.
Oh fuck! That's a waste. It's a crit. That's a 19.
I'm not even going to get you to roll for damage. You take the guy's arm off from the shoulder, and he just kind of falls backwards because he was pulling away from this. He falls backwards onto the ground and then faints very promptly through shock and blood loss, and kind of hits the ground. The arm is then dragged up and slapped against the tree, and then almost gets taken into this shadowy, dusty kind of formation and becomes the vine as it begins to grow a lot more viciously. On the tree. Is anyone else doing anything? Korvax, where are you at this point?
I'll have just claimed our winnings, so that's 20 platinum total for Gareth. That's been returned, and 16 to myself.
Okay.
I'll be looking rather chipper, and then realise I'm alone.
Everyone's gone.
With my dragon.
Yeah. So, yeah,
So I'll just... If there's anybody that's looking panicked or anything like that, I'll just grab them and I'll just ask where the Whitewoods went.
You as you grab just a woman that's sort of making her way out, and she's looking a bit just as confused as you are. She says, "Someone said that something's happening to the Faya de Santra. I'm gonna go look." And she kind of runs in the direction of the old tree.
I'll follow her because I have no idea what a Faya de Santra is because nobody's explained it to me.
Yeah, I found the name, the Faya de Santra. So she begins to run. You kind of follow her, and as you run up and you see this situation where you see a guy that's lying on the floor with no arm. Morin sort of stood next to with Gareth with his axe sort of branded. Looks like he's just chopped this guy's arm off. But you also see this. You see a lot of panicked townsfolk with Camden, Raljin, Relan, and many others holding axes and trying to chop these vines off the tree. Vines that have now...
I've got no concern about that. I'm just going to look at Gareth and say, "What did you do?" And I'm just going to look down at the guy without an arm.
They told me to take his arm off.
As this is...
What?
You actually see him on the floor, Morin. He's not looking in a good way. Is there anything you want him to do?
I will cast a 3rd level healing word at him.
Okay.
As a bonus action.
Okay.
So he will recuperate. Hold on. $13 points of healing.
Okay. I'm going to think
And
of a
then
name
as
for
an
this guy.
action,
Okay.
I'm going to do a medicine check. And is there any sources of fire nearby, like just a small source of fire, like a lamp or?
Yeah. There's
something?
there are lamps. They're not lit because it's in the day. So I mean, you can certainly take one and light it.
Okay. What I need is I'll take a lamp. I will. Does Gareth have any small blades on his belt, like a dagger or anything?
I have 27 daggers.
Yes, you do. I will take a dagger of my fancy. I will strike and light this lamp. I will heat the dagger after I've cast Healing Word on this guy. I'm going to say, I apologise in advance. This is going to hurt, and I will make a medicine check to cauterize the wound.
Okay. Give me a medicine check.
Can I do it with advantage because I'm a badass?
I will allow it.
That's good. That is a 23.
23. Yeah, that is definitely cauterized. You hear him scream as he wakes up and then promptly falls back unconscious again. But the wound is now cauterized, but he is armless. There is still panic going on, and you can see every time a new one grows, Rousing, you're watching your father. Every time a new one grows, he kind of gets his axe. He's got just a hand axe, very sharp. You can see him.
I grab his shoulder and go, Dad, stop. This is Blood Needle Shadow Ivy. That's not going to work.
He's like, I don't care. It's taking the tree.
Right.
And you can see the Shadow Ivy now beginning sort of almost like creeping. You can see it creeping towards your father as he gets closer and closer into it.
I grab him and pull him back.
Okay, give me a grapple check.
Oh, god damn it.
What?
Yep.
I can't see you.
I know.
Is it a natural one?
Yep.
Yeah. Your attempts to do that, but he pushes you backwards and continues to chop it. Roland comes in. She's like, Father, stop! It's not working. And she's going to try and pull him back. I don't know if she's going to get one up munchie on this, so that is a 19. She kind of grabs him by the scruff of the neck, says, Ralston, help me! You grab him and you both just kind of pull him back, and as you do, the Shadow Ivy goes to almost like it goes to kind of out of the ground as if it's trying to grab him. As you pull him back, it kind of comes up out of the ground, wraps around, and you notice on all different sort of like 6 sort of like points around the tree. This all happens at the same time. The ivy spurts out of the ground, begins to almost form archways, which is creating almost like a fence around the tree. As the tree becomes completely encompassed in this ivy, it kind of forms around anyone that's chopping at this ivy now has been almost like they've been forced back away, and everyone is now a good 15-20 feet away from the tree as they've been trying to get free. You see people trying to chop at it. It almost like it grows back faster than people can take it down. You see some people have had a similar idea, and they see Mulrin lighting a lantern, and they think, oh, he's using fire. So they get fire themselves, and they start to try and set fire to it. The fire takes hold, and then is immediately it gets to a certain point, and then just kind of snuffs out. And nothing that anyone's doing. A good 10 minutes of trying to chop this stuff down, burn it, do anything to it. It just makes it grow back faster. The area around the tree now, in a complete circumference around the tree, and the tree itself is now invisible. Part of the, not invisible, but you can't see it. Even part of the Temple of Melora has been coated and grown around in this shadow ivy. Camden looks and just kind of falls back. It's gone. It's gone. And that's where I'm going to take a break. So yeah, we'll come back in about is 10 minutes okay for you guys?
Yep, 10 minutes.
And and then we'll come back and we can find out what to do next after the blood tip shadow ivy has taken the Fea de Santra. Okay, see you in about 10 minutes, guys. And grab yourself some tea, go for a pee, and yeah, be merry, or whatever you do. Hello and welcome back. Right, so I think we're going to jump right in to the session from where we left off. The Fea de Santra, the magical tree which lays centre of the town of Ashenoke, has been seemingly strangled and completely hidden by the shadow ivy, which just appeared from the ground and laid havoc to the area, completely covering it in a thorny, very vicious looking bush, which is just towers up, probably, well, as tall as the tree at least, so at least 30 feet, and sort of like, sort of goes around in an area which sort of goes around like almost like a 20 foot in either side, so around about 40 foot circumference around the edge, and no one can get anywhere near it. Anyone that does try to sort of push into it and do anything to it, it sort of met back with an outward growth of these vines, which almost covers a bigger area. People have now become smart enough now to not do anything to it through fear of it spreading even more. Camden sits sort of looking upon this sight in disbelief, and he's speechless. Vidiana, your mother, Algin, she comes over and she kind of kneels down and places her hands on Camden's shoulders, just in comfort. Obviously doesn't say anything.
Are there any weapons around?
Quite a lot of axes, as people that have given up their futile attempt at trying to chop this tree down, or trying to chop the ivy down. They've kind of dropped their weapons, their axes.
Something's concerning me. I want to pick up 2 axes, and I'm gonna kind of waddle over to Camden and just say, Lord Whitewood. I'm just looking around because there's all the other people there.
He kind of he looks, and obviously he's on the ground, and his eyes meet yours, sort of almost eye to eye. What?
It made a grab for you. With your permission, I'd like to do a test, but I might need a spot of your blood on one of these blades.
What the hell's Korvax? He's fine.
Just a touch, just enough to just a drop on the blade.
I don't know what you're getting at.
It made a grab for you.
It made a grab for several people, Korvax.
It seemed to be very interested in you. I'm going to look at it, wondering whether it's a targeted attack.
Korvax, I stepped between them.
Okay, well in that case, I'll just kind of brush the blade across Raljin's arm. Just not enough to do any serious damage. I'm thinking like 1 point. That should do it. And I'm going to take the other axe and draw it across my back. So I've got goblin blood on one, and Raljin blood on the other. And I'm going to walk over to the bush, the ivy.
Okay.
And I'm going to kind of hold out the axe with the goblin blood and see if that kind of attracts any attention, see if it kind of goes close or makes a grab for that.
Tell me, in the manner in which you approach it. Threateningly or non-threateningly?
Oh, well, I've got both axes at my side, and they're wet with blood.
Okay.
So I imagine it's. Okay. I'm not necessarily coming to say hello, but it's holding them and just. I kind of want to see if there's like if it goes for any one in particular. So I'm kind of do the goblin blood first, and then almost like if you were in a cavern or something, and you'd be holding up a torch.
Yeah.
I'm going to stand near him, get ready to intervene if need be.
Okay. You approach, and you just kind of hold out the axes, or hold out the one axe. Nothing happens.
And then I'll hold up the one with Raljin's blood on it.
Okay, you retract the goblin one and you hold out the other one. Nothing happens. It's very still.
I'll
the
hold it a
leaves,
bit
the leaves of the blood
closer.
tipped sort of like leaves just kind of rattle slightly. The way that they're kind of rigid. So as the wind kind of blows through, and you see the dark brown leaves of the whitewood forest which have blown off, they kind of rustle in the wind, and it's almost like the sound that a rattlesnake would make as the wind passes through, kind of.
Olin, is that you?
It doesn't
Olin?
seem to be moving. There's no movement.
I'm gonna kind of hold them as far apart as I can in front of me, and I'm just gonna edge forward, so I'm almost touching the ivy, but I'm holding the axes at arm's length as far down the shafts as I can.
Okay. In the way that you're doing this and just sort of holding them out, no, nothing's happening.
I'm just gonna look at Ralgin and say, "It was worth a try. Sorry about your hand or arm."
It's your arm is bleeding slightly, Ralgin, but
I turn to my dad and say, "Dad, I don't think she's dead yet."
he places his hand on the ground and closes his eyes. Just says, "I can't feel her."
The roots come from the Feywild. If the roots still live, then the tree still lives. If whatever this invader, this intrusion is, it didn't start here. It needs to be cut off at the source.
I wonder if this is what he meant. And he turns to Vidiana. Says, "He said he'd strangle me for every last penny."
Who? Oh.
Who do you think?
Him.
Oh, Siren.
Who?
He kind of gets himself up. He's kind of got a few like needle points in his arm from where the Shadow Ivy has kind of nicked him, but nothing too serious. He says, Vidiana signs something only Ralgin can understand, but she signs, "Should we speak to Vinvia?" And he says, he just voices back, "It wouldn't hurt to get his input on this. If she's not gone, Ralgin, she's definitely going. We need to do something fast."
Okay. Well, what about my cousins in the Underdark? They may know something.
I think this is a little far out from their remit. This is I don't know. It's either from the Feywild or from
Shadowfell. I know.
This is...
Sounds to me like you know who's responsible. So how about we go find them, give them a kicking, and tell them to, stop.
I appreciate you trying, Garroth, but Anthon O'Siren is one of the richest and more powerful people in the kingdom.
Right.
His wealth and power rivals that of the king. You're not getting close to him.
So we'll go get Master Vinvia.
It's okay. We can contact him. Just he kind of stands up, and you can see the kind of the defeated look on his face kind of washes off as he you see Paolo now as sort of comes and says, Paolo, get dressed. We're going to need a guard on this 24/7. Paolo says, absolutely, sir. You see, he kind of addresses some of the other commanders and some of the other guards. He says, there is going to be someone watching this every minute, every second, until this is dealt with. If anything gets worse, if anything changes, I want to know about it immediately. Right. Coda, you come with me and Vidiana. We've got a conversation to have with Vinvir, and we'll see who else we can speak to. Raljin.
Yes.
Hit the library. See if you can learn anything else about this. And just give us some time. We'll come back to you guys soon. Just stay away from it, okay?
I nod, quite clearly shaken.
Rilan, you're on duty. Get dressed. He kind of steps back, and you see the actual commander of the guard kind of step forward, and Camden, who's not in a position of authority, but kind of realizes that he's kind of overstepped slightly in ordering people around, and kind of steps back and says, I'll leave it to you, Commander. And the commander just kind of nods and then starts barking more orders and puts people on certain positions, and brings in carts and starts to build almost like a wall around this this bush that's formed around the tree. Right. We'll see you soon. And Camden and Vidiana then they head off with Coda back towards the house.
As soon as my dad tends to leave, I say, Mum.
She turns.
And I sign, so so Camden can't see. I sign, I just want to help.
She one-handed sign to making it discreet. Just signs, I know. And then turns and goes with your father.
Once they're out of eye shot, I'm just going to lean into Raljin and just say, I think I know a guy that might be able to help.
I look over at him.
Well, there's a certain bronze dragon that seems to have an affinity with all things planty and druidy and linked to the Feywild.
By the time we get in touch with him, the forest could be dead.
I was just thinking of going to Alric and getting him to send a message.
I'm assuming you're talking about
Gedris.
Yeah, Gedris. Copper Dragon.
Yes.
But yeah.
Yeah, that's a good idea, Kovacs.
Your father mentioned some books as well.
Yes, we there's obviously the library in the temple, but we have our own. We record the history of our forest very, very closely.
Would you grant me permission to read it as well? I may be able to assist you.
By all means, please. And
Wonderful.
then, in a tongue that only those who speak Undercommon can understand, you hear a string of very offensive words.
Directed at?
Just
in general?
Yeah.
Right.
I will take my personal librarian, Aylar, with me, my library assistant. And we will go on an expedition to the library when everyone else is ready.
Okay.
I'll just say, does anyone need me to smash? Cut down trees.
The what's the commander's name? That the one who's currently here, who's in charge.
Give me a second. No,
Coda?
Paolo's not a commander. He's just a soldier. It is Lowell. Not Lowell. Commander Lowell. 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 Lowell.
Commander Lowell.
Yes.
I understand that protecting the tree and protecting people from the tree is going to leave you short-handed. If there's any way Gareth can help, well, basically kill things is what he's good at. I'm sure he would appreciate you pointing him at something to kill.
I guess. I mean, at the moment, we're just, we're just guarding this thing, making sure that it doesn't get any worse. He's welcome to take up arms and watch it as well if he wants.
I mean, that's a bit boring. Can't we just kill it?
We've tried.
I could keep trying.
Well,
how would you like to aid the town's hunters, perhaps?
Oh, right, yeah, like hunting animals and stuff. I can do that. I'll go on.
I still have a few troops out guarding against the lizard men.
I could kill lizard men. I can do that.
Sure. My troops are thinned out. I've not. I've obviously called many of them back, so they're on a two-man guard at the moment on the northeast, south, and west corners of the Whitewood Forest, or what's left of it, of course. You're willing to. You're more than welcome to try one of those. Join one of those battalions. I'll let you choose whichever one you wish. I can't for certain tell you which one's going to be the most dangerous, but or the most provocative. But you're more than willing to more than welcome to try and choose one.
All right, I'll do that. We'll help out with the guard any way they need. If it be hunting, killing lizard men, or stuff like that.
Okay.
Is that okay for you, Gareth? I know you get bored when it's a lot of weird stuff.
No, it's fine. Like, kill that, get me food. I can get that.
Okay.
Very well. Head to one of the posts, northeast, south, or west. You'll be greeted there by one of the guards. Most of them that are on duty at the moment were witness to the fight, so they probably know who you are.
And just in case they weren't, I call for Relan.
Yes, brother.
Do you have? I didn't think to bring any. Do you have any of the family crest? Any patches?
I've got mine that I'm wearing.
No, that's fine.
I don't carry spares around. Sorry.
Like a badge or something.
Yeah.
I could carve it into my chest with a knife.
The Commander Lowell just kind of stops and goes, look, just take this. And he takes off he's got a cape. He takes off the cape and just says, right, just wear this. And there will be no doubts that, you're at least working for us. I don't need it. Sorry?
Is it a nice cape?
It is a very nice cape. Yes, it's
I'm imagining it only goes to like my waist, really. Just being
yeah, it's a white cape with like a silver and blue trim along the bottom.
It's a fancy cape.
Yes, please look after it.
Is it a magic cape or anything?
No,
it's merely symbolic of being part of the Ashen-Oak Guard.
Right. Okay.
Okay. I'm correct. Do you want to stay and help research? Do you want to go with Gareth?
Well, if you're checking your records, I'm going to check the temple's records, see if there's anything in there. So you said it was... What was it called again?
It was called... Because I wrote it down because I take notes. Blood Needle Shadow Ivy.
Yeah.
Blood Needle Shadow Ivy from the Shadowfell.
From that's where it originates. Yes.
That's your assumption. Yes. You can't be 100% certain on that, but that's your main assumption. It's not.
I mean,
yeah.
That's where it's native to.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Well, if this is an attack, I'm gonna pop back to the house and get my gear because I have been just wearing civvies, and I'm going to hand Garroth his 20 platinum.
Oh, what's this for?
Your winnings.
Oh, right, yeah, for my fight. Cool. I got money.
Not that you know how to count. So in this time, it's what, about 1 in the afternoon at the moment. Where is everyone heading? I know that Alar and Malvin, you guys are heading to the estate library up at the Whitewood Estate. Is that correct?
That is correct. Alar is now Malrin's research assistant. He carries books for me.
Okay. Yarn, I'm going to assume, goes with you. And what we got? Korvax, you're heading to the Temple of Ioun library.
So house first to get my gear. And then
house first to get the gear. Okay. And Raljin, where are you going?
To my library.
Okay, so you're going there as well. So everyone's going to the same place at the moment, apart from Garroth, who is heading to northeast, south or west.
I don't really know. He'd just go where he was told, really.
Yeah, well, he just said he said they need help either in the north, east, south, or west corner, and he gave you the choice of which one you would like to go.
In which case, can I remember which one the boy that's interested in Raljin's sister is at?
I know you're going to hate me for this, but give me an intelligence roll to see if you...
Oh, fuck, my weak point. Not bad. It's not bad. There's 16 on dice, so that's 13.
Oh, right, okay, that's... You actually, as you see people being distributed, you actually notice that Dosky actually heads off with another one of the guards towards the northern gate.
Right, I will go to the northern gate.
Okay. The northern area. The northern area is deep within the Whitewood Forest, and it is it's around sort of like the back end of where sort of the mansion is. So you can probably head in the same direction as everyone else until you get to where the Whitewood Estate is, and then you would carry on going until you got to the northern side of the actual Whitewood Forest. One thing you notice, Garroth, as you're walking on your way, is the forest itself looks like it's... Picture walking through a woodland area in the middle of winter, only it's not cold. It's by... And you'll be quite familiar with the seasons, being a barbarian. It's the beginning of spring. And there's a slight warmth to the air, but the leaves are just dropping off the trees. Most of them are at their bare skeletons, and you as you're walking, you notice the odd leaf just kind of drop down and float to the ground. And as you're actually walking, you actually you have to wade through the leaves in some points. Like below the trees, there's just piles of them. And some of them sort of like blown in path, and you have to kick them out of the way in order to get through. And the paths themselves are very somewhat less defined because of the leaf coverage. And another thing that's quite bizarre about this is whitewood trees are deciduous. They're evergreen. Well, I say evergreen, but they don't lose their leaves. So this is that makes this even worse.
These trees aren't going to lose their leaves yet, or ever. What's going on?
So yeah, that's kind of That's what you get as you're making your way through to the northern points. I'll come back to you in a moment, Gareth, but we'll head to Maureen and and everyone else who's heading to the library. Maureen, Melvin and Ralgin, you guys get to the house. So Ralgin, you will sort of show Maureen to the books and the library, your personal library that you have here. It's just past your Temple of Elistrei, which where you do your prayers quite regularly. It's not as big as the Temple of Ioun. It's a home library, but it looks like it has just as many books as they're on circular curved shelves that sort of come around, and there's got those ladders that go up. So it probably covers just as many books as the Temple of Ioun's library, but just on more levels, if you know what I mean.
Okay, so the books relating to the forest are over to your right. We may need to go into the family records, which are at the back. And then everything else is kind of not important at the moment.
I will let you take lead, Ralgin. This is your family's industry and your family's heritage. But I will happily cross-reference things with you. However, I just want to speak out loud about my theories, if you have an ear for it, Ralgin.
I am all ears at the moment.
Now, we have encountered some unusual entities recently. The gems that were intercepted that belonged to the Infernals were taken by Zorns, creatures native to an elemental plane that do not hunt in packs. That requires a comprehensive understanding of summoning through the elemental plane of Earth to achieve. We are then beset upon by a native invasive species of plant of the Shadowfell. Again, not something we would see too frequently. I have not read of many instances of a invasion of a plant native to the Shadowfell anywhere on the material plane. Is there a possibility an entity is coordinating these attempts and that they are somehow linked? Now, I believe that it is the work of somebody wishing to undermine the Infernals and finding out about the nature of Vectra and her associates. It makes me think that somebody is attempting to undermine the Infernals to prove them weak. But if they're doing this to impress Vectra or doing it to show a competition, it's just speculation at this point.
Well, my family has no ties to the Infernals.
Understandably. However, your family are a prominent family with sway in the area. And also, we have been active combatants in this situation since the beginning.
It's certainly something to consider. I have my own theories, which are a lot more outlandish, I must admit.
I'm all ears.
As I'm getting books down off the shelves and handing them out, I say, as you said, we've had intrusions from different realms, different planes. The alarmist in me is concerned there might be some sort of planal bleed.
Phil, is Morin aware from his study of Arcana about the instance of planes bleeding into each other?
Give me an Arcana check.
Okay. 17 on dice plus 6. 23.
Nice. Yeah, planar bleeds or rifts are are definitely something that exists and has been sort of part of Arcalian and Lycosian history in sort of like in its entirety. They're rare though, and usually happen in places where there have been in the past extraplanal wars. So, for example, when demons from the abyss have come across and been at wars with devils from the hells, or where there's been confrontations between the elemental planes of fire and water. These are usually and these are ones that have been documented through usually like prehistory, but from a long time ago. And usually where these happen, that's usually where you would get planal rifts that there are weaker points.
Is there a way to attune them, like with an element of a fork, like I'm trying to think what it's from. It's a higher level spell. Similar to plane shifting, would there be a way to construct something that would allow us to detect the presence of a planar bleed?
That you would have to see if you can read on.
Okay, that's not something we'll have in this library.
Not sure.
So I'm sharing this stuff actively with Ralton.
We've got a lot of books. Sorry, I'm just in a bit of a panic. This isn't just my family. The entire town will suffer if the forest dies.
Have you any powdered silver?
I don't know. I mean, we could easily get you some.
Procure me a pound of powdered silver. I'm going to try something which I would be interested to see if it will at least abate a small part of this growth.
Okay. Get to reading. I'll go get you some powdered silver. Dad's gonna be pissed that I break the silverware, but
you could probably ask your dad, or you probably know that if you ask, they might have some. They do tend to have certain things around the house that you might be able to use on that. So, yeah. So, are you heading off to try and find the silver then?
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, get to reading, guys. Okay. Please.
So whilst you're doing that and you're heading off to do that, Korvax, you've got your things, and you're heading to the Temple of Ayun to do your reading. Is there anything you wanted to do immediately as you got there?
I'll see if Ulrich's available. If he's not, because I imagine he's possibly busy with everything else that's kicking off at the moment. I'll kind of pencil it in to grab him and have a chat with him and see if he's got any bead on any of this.
Okay. Well, you head on up to Alric's room, and the door is closed. What would you like to do? Are you going to knock?
I'll knock, but it'll be kind of a respectful kind of. I don't particularly want to disturb him too much.
Okay. You knock, and on the other side, actually, you do hear, "Come in."
I'll just kind of sheepishly open the door and pop my head round.
As you come in, it says, Korvax. Sorry, I was expecting one of the messengers from Camden.
Messengers?
We've been communicating backwards and forwards, but they're using a lot of their sendings to communicate with others. It's easier just to send runners, I guess, whilst we're in town. Is there something you needed?
So you I was just wondering if this is something that possibly Yedris could help with. Morlin seems to think it's from the Shadowfell, and I know he's kind of got links to the Feywild with the Amorabastor and everything else.
Oh, well, I mean, the Amorabastor isn't Feywildian. It's something else. To be honest, he's probably not the lead authority on some of this, but I mean, I guess we could ask him for some help. I can be in contact with the Order, see what they know. although they do have other
Maybe-
things.
And I appreciate that, and I know you guys don't necessarily like getting too involved with.
Oh, believe me, I'll be
Stuff
getting
like
involved.
this.
This is my home. This has been my home for quite some time, and I will sooner. I can't see it die. So, I'm lending every bit of hand that I can, every bit of help that I can put into this. So, Camden has just been asking me if there's anything I can do regarding this. So I'm doing reading. I'm consulting my own knowledge to see if I can get to the bottom of this. Although he did mention the name Osiren, who is someone who I know of. He's one of the most powerful nobles in the kingdom. So it's his name does get around. I don't know him being a practicer of magics. He's rich. He's powerful. He's not. Well,
there's stuff that's been going on with the Infernals and things along those lines. It's not out of the realms of possibility that people with influence would be able to do something like this. With that being said, I mean, am I okay to use the library? Just see if there's anything I can find out?
Of course. Everyone's on high alert at the moment. We've got a lot of researchers doing what we can. Did you say that it might have something to do with the Shadowfell? Your friend Maureen was theorizing.
He said it was. What was it? Was it Shadow Vein? Ivy? Shadow.
Yes. I did a bit of research on it myself. Blood Needle Shadow Ivy, they call it. It's
yes, and Maureen seemed to be under the impression that this was native to the Shadowfell. So, I mean, with the Gorn, that's been around. With the Balar that we saw,
I can't see how it would link to the Zorn.
Well, I mean, it's extra planar, so maybe there's some shenanigans afoot. People summoning things that they shouldn't.
That's true, but from what you've told me, that happened. That particular occurrence happened quite a significant amount of distance away from here, and extraplanar rifts tend to be in one place rather than over several places. I mean, it would be a coincidence, but I can't see it being linked.
The only commonality is us, whether somebody's got beef with us. I mean, we've certainly got around. I mean, it might be worth
the Zorn specifically targeted you?
Not specifically, but we were in both areas at the time, but all of these occurrences has happened. You know, I mean, the Infernals and the Balar, you know, that was clearly something they was doing, but we was there as well.
If you're wanting to investigate the Shadowfell a little bit further, I'd maybe go and we do have books on that within the library. Go and do some research, see what you can fathom. I'll do the same here. And you can see he's actually got a pile of books of his own that he's been reading through. We'll get to the bottom of this, Korvax. Don't worry. And as he says that, you kind of it looks like he's almost like he's trying to convince himself not to worry.
Okay, so I'll just thank him and excuse myself. I'm going to pop down to the chapel first, and I'm going to spend some time, just 10-15 minutes or so, uttering a prayer to Ioun, and then I'm going to get to work.
Okay. Right. Garroth, we'll come round to you.
Right, I'll be talking to one of the guards, and I'll be sort of going, and that is my theory on where the vines and all the things are coming from.
Dosky, who's one of the guards on there, is like, that's it's quite a wild theory. You know, saying that you know, they were brought by the livestock. I can't see it happening really, but you know, okay.
The livestock, not the livestock. I'm saying it was a giraffe.
There haven't been any giraffes. But okay. You know.
Like, if you like giraffes, like they eat trees, and They got big necks, which makes them sketchy.
That's okay. Personally, I've only ever seen pictures of giraffes. I've never actually encountered one before. But
dangerous things. If you see them like wandering their heads around, yep, you don't want to be in their path. That's for sure. Anyway, what are we doing out here?
Give me a perception check.
Gareth has a fear of giraffes.
What is your passive perception?
Passive perception is 12.
12. As you say, what we're doing here. It says we're keeping our eye out for lizard men, and the commander Lowell seems to think that now that the forest is beginning to die, they may actually take an opportunity and attack us directly. We sincerely hope not. But as he's speaking, yeah, he didn't see it either. You see two like small like projectiles fly out of the bush. One of them hits the other guard. He can be called Eli. In the side of the shoulder, and he goes, "Ow!" And you can see him kind of looking a bit dazed. And he begins to sort of go weak in the knees. And then Dosky goes, "Oh, damn it!" And kind of turns around as three lizard men sort of approach out of the bush. Gareth, roll for initiative.
All right. 15.
15. Okay. Hang on 1 second. Gonna get my thing on. I'll just do it on this. Okay. The lizard folk. There we go. And I will just have that there. Right. Okay. So 15 for you. Hey, Dosky gets a natural 20. He's going first. Nice one, Dusk. Okay, and the lizard men. Oh, they're going before you. That's an 18 and 19. Oh, I'll call it 18 in the middle because they rolled 18, 19, 18. They can all go at the same time. So Eli is kind of looking a bit wary. It looks like he's fighting something like almost like a sleep off. And one of the lizard folk comes out of the bush. He's going to get him with a sword attack. And misses with a 2. Another one's going to come on you, Gareth, and then he's going to attack you. With a 14 to hit, he's going to miss.
Yeah.
And, one's going to go. Dosky's going to go first on that one. Sorry, I do apologise. Dosky. He pulls out his short sword because they come in quite close to him, and he makes his first attack, and he hits. That is 7 points of damage. Nice, Dosky. Slashes at this lizard foe, kind of goes for its neck, but kind of catches it across the shoulder, but it takes 7 points of damage. The other lizard foe that's going to attack Dosky gets a natural 20. Bollocks. Don't kill Dosky, please. Okay. No, he's not dead. It's alright. But he does take 12 points of damage on Dosky. So, Gareth, it's your turn as this one of them sort of approaches you. It makes an attack but misses. What are you going to do?
Pull out justice. Well, actually, probably still already in my hand already. Then I'm going to a rage, and I'm just gonna go. Great weapon master, reckless attack.
Okay, give me an attack roll.
Right, so that is only a dirty 20, please.
That will hit. Yeah, roll for damage.
Okay, you ready for this? Okay, well, that's a 2 on dice, but I get to re-roll that. That is an 8.
8 points of damage.
30 damage.
How much?
30.
30 points of damage. It comes at you, it swipes at you once of its sword, then you just kind of go into a rage immediately, turn your axe and just go slash. There's kind of a pause before the head of the lizard folk just kind of goes and just flops down to the ground. His body just falls to the ground. Dosky looks at you and goes, "All right." And then that's it comes back around to his turn. And actually, have you got another attack?
No, because I went into a rage this turn.
Oh, okay. So Dosky's 20. He's top of the round, so he's going to make an attack. He feels confident about this now. He hits. And he does 11 points of damage. Nice one, Dusk. Okay, this lizard folk is it's nicked on one side and it nicks it on the other. Eli is going to attempt to ward off this sleep. Hey, it's fine. He's absolutely fine. He kind of shakes it off and is going to make his attack on the one that's on him. That is a 12 to hit. That's going to miss. So it's back round to the lizard folk. So one goes on Eli, misses. The other one's going on you, Garroth. That is a 16 to hit.
It misses.
Okay, misses. And the other one's going to go on Dosky. Natural 1. It's Dosky's kind of cut it twice, and it's as it goes to lift up its arm, it's a bit too weak and it misses on the attack. We come back round to you, Garroth. What are you doing?
Right, going for the one on Dosky first.
Okay.
So reckless. Oh, did the guy attacking me have advantage?
No, it didn't. So I'll roll just in case. That will hit. That's a dirty 20. So thank you for the thingy. So you take that is 7 halved 4 points of damage.
Right. Back to my retaliation.
Yeah.
Which is now reckless with. That's not great. That's only 17.
17. 17 points of damage. Sorry, 17 to hit. Sorry, that hits. Sorry, do apologise. Yeah.
Right, that is 31.
So yeah, Dusky is it's I've sliced it twice. You just sort of come and go, oh! Lob that one's head off. There's only one of them left now, and there's the one that's attacking Eli.
We'll do an attack on him.
Okay.
That is a natural 20.
Roll for damage.
Oh, blimmin' heck. Oh god, you do not know what this is. It's, okay. You roll that, that's 9. Roll it. Oh, blimmin' it, that's 21. 40, 42, 51, 52. 63 points of damage.
How do you want to completely maim and dismember this creature?
I just want to go up from behind him and just like grab his mouth, like pull his mouth open, and then just like rip his lower jaw and a good portion of like the skin from his chest.
Oh.
So, his guts spill out on the ground, and I just throw his body to the side.
As you do this, and it's in front of Eli, the blood kind of all over Eli, and he's like, ah! And Dusky's kind of looking at you, just complete impressed, just a look of just like wow on his face, as you rip this thing apart and throw it on the ground like. Dusky says, "Yeah, you stick around. You stay there." He kind of takes a moment and listens and says, "I don't think that was the last of them. Be on guard." Sorry?
Giraffe.
Say that again.
As I was saying, giraffes.
We'll come back to as that's all going on. We'll come back to Maureen and Aylar in the library. Sorry. 1 second. Let me flip it. We'll come back to Raljin because you were heading off to get the silver. Then it's Maureen in the library. So, Raljin, you headed up to your father's room it'll be the community room where he's sort of like where he is with some of the other leaders within Ashenoak, and you head up to the door and you can sort of hear that there are there's some loud voices sort of like going on in there, namely your father's, as he seems to be trying to convince someone. You can't quite make out everything that's being said. Is there anything you want to do?
Oh god, this would be a terrible time for that one. I am going to try and stealthily creak the door open a little bit so I can see inside.
Okay. Give me a stealth roll.
Well, it's not a nat 1.
Okay.
But it's not much better. Hang on. Stealthy stealth. Let's see, so that's That is an 11.
Okay. Well, that doesn't beat the passive perception, I'm afraid.
Yeah.
So as you sort of go up, you can hear your father's voice, which sounds elevated, and you kind of go to push the door open, you hear it, and you kind of close your eyes and like, and then the voices, or your father's voice stops. And then the door opens fully, and you see Coda stood there. He's opened the door fully, and you can see him stood there looking down at you, as you look like you're trying to peer in.
I've got my shoulders hunched, my head down, my eyes closed really tight, and I just look like a kid who was caught with his hand in the biscuit tin.
Can we help you, Master Whitewood?
I just need some powdered silver because Warren wants to try a spell.
Camden, your father kind of steps in and says, does he have a theory?
He didn't say. He kind of doesn't say until it's either worked or hasn't worked. I open my eyes to see who's in there.
As you open your eyes, you look around the room, and you can see that Vinvi is there, as well as Camden, your mother, and Coda, and just a couple of people that you don't recognise, but probably the way that they're dressed, probably more nobles from the just a couple of like lesser nobles, I guess, from Ashenok in the mid area. We can certainly supply that for you. Vinvir, he says, I have some right here. Hang on 1 second. And he goes into a bag that he has. It's a bag of holding that he has on his side. And he goes, what, silver, you said? Gold?
Powdered.
Gold, ruby dust. Powdered silver. It's probably about 500 golds worth there, if you want that. And he throws it over to you.
Good, thank you. I'm just gonna
If you don't mind us asking, what exactly is your friend's theory?
He didn't say.
Well, he must have said something. You can't have just blindly followed his orders and come up here and get silver from your father during this specifically stressful time.
I wasn't. I just trust and kind of panicked. So bye, and I just leave.
You leave and you head on back to the library. Simultaneously, as this is going on, Maureen, you are looking for books. Can you tell me specifically what you are looking for? And I'd love to know the nature of why you want the silver as well.
Okay, so first of all, the first book that I am looking for it's a tale from an explorer, probably about 4 centuries old.
Mm-hmm.
And it is known as Treading Upon the Dastardly Vine.
Okay.
An expedition formed of a journey that an adventurer took, exploring a corrupted forest.
Okay.
Now, in this story, in this corrupted forest, it was rather an abyssal connection that had caused all of the upset.
Mm-hmm.
But Maureen is looking specifically to see descriptions of what had occurred previously, like testimonies, as it were, that were included as part of this book.
Okay.
Were there giraffes in this place?
Maureen thinks back.
A giraffe is going to turn up somewhere in this campaign at some point.
Maureen thinks back about the noble giraffe, the great creature of neck of miles, and wonders, why aren't there more of them? As he's, flicking through the early pages.
So what you're saying, Phil, is that in this game you're having a giraffe.
You're having a giraffe.
Yeah.
Evil giraffe.
Maureen, give me a history check as you're thinking back on this tale. And you actually, as you're thinking back on this tale, give me a history check.
First edition, by the way.
Sorry, say that again, Maureen.
That was a 16.
16, and what did you say, Rob?
I just said the books are first edition. Most of the books in the library are first editions.
Yeah. So you have a think back on this, and you actually do find a copy of the book, and it is based on fact in itself, treading upon the dastardly vine. I like that. I have like a list of your books written in here. It's great, it's not the same in a sense as it doesn't. It's more abyssal. Than it is Shadowfell or Feywildian, but it reminds you a little bit of what happened in the Amora Store, actually, which the links that you look at and from what it says in this book, the Amora Store, the psionic winds and things like that happen there, is very similar to this as well, where a rift has probably opened there. And has only been partially closed, and something got let through. And actually, with your reading on this, you start to realise that the Amorabastor's existence is probably more fluke than tactic. Whereas where its existence is because of a rift, specifically to like Limbo for the Amorabastor. But the links that you make specifically with what's going on at the Amorabastor, what you already know about extraplanar rifts and tears in the fabric in the planal fabric, and what's going on here is it always happens upon weak spots, where there is where the veil between the two planes, or in this case the three planes, are very, very thin. And when you think about where Ashnok is, the roots of the Feyre de Santra literally touch the Feywild.
Mm-hmm.
So what's happened here is there is a very, very, very thin wall between the two planes. Unfortunately, that also means that there is a very thin wall between the material plane and Shadowfell as well, as Shadowfell and Feywild are literally back to back. So what's happened here is someone has taken advantage of that weak spot and let something through, which has taken advantage of that advantage of that situation. This blood-needed shadow ivory has been let through this weak point, and someone must have done this, which means that there is very possibly a Fey crossing and or a shadow crossing right here in Ashnok. And that's what you can kind of glean from the information that you've got.
And possibly a giraffe wizard.
So yeah,
I'm writing that down quickly. A giraffe wizard.
Please tell me you took the other notes as well.
Of course I did.
I like that. So everything that Phil just said, disregard. Giraffe wizard.
There are crossing points between the planes of sorceress giraffes and other bits. Something Bill said. We'll work it out. It's okay. I know. It's between the shadow crossing and the Fey crossing.
Yes.
Located in a subterranean level, I presume, as it's below the tree's roots.
You can't really intend that, but that could be a guess.
Okay, I'll take that as a guess.
So, I mean, I can give you some extra information that you would actually read. If you have the DMG, you would know this already, but I can give you some information. So, specifically on shadow crossings and Fey crossings. Fey crossings are places of mystery and beauty on the material plane. In this case, the tree and the Whitewood Forest itself, that have a near-perfect mirror in the Feywild. So, the actual Whitewood itself also exists within the within the Feywild, in a mirrored specific Feywild. Creating a portal where the two planes touch. A traveller passes through a Feywild crossing by entering the clearing, wading, or into a pool, stepping into the circle of mushrooms, or crawling under a trunk of a tree. Okay. To the traveller, it seems like he or she has simply walked into the Feywild with a step. To an observer, the traveller is there 1 minute and then gone the next. Like other portals between planes, most Fey crossings open infrequently. A crossing might open only during a full moon, or on the dawn of a particular day, or for someone carrying a certain type of item. A Fey crossing can only be can only be closed permanently if the land on either side is dramatically altered. For example, if a castle has been built on it or over the clearing on the material plane. The Whitewood Forest itself has been kept in its pristine and actually expanded upon by the Whitewood family. So it's it itself has been kept. So the portal would very likely be there somewhere. Alternatively, shadow crossings. Similar to Fey crossings, shadow crossings are locations where the veil between the material plane and the Shadowfell is thin, so that creatures can walk from one plane to the other. A blot of shadow on the corner of a dusty crypt might be a shadow crossing, as might an open grave. Shadow crossings form forming gloomy places where spirits or stench of death lingers, such as battlefields, graveyards, and tombs. They manifest only in darkness, closing as soon as it feels light's kiss.
Okay. So with that then, if the Whitewood Forest is a likely place to store a Fey crossing, is there a known site of battle or a known tomb in the vicinity?
Not here. So from what you can probably ascertain is the veil that has been pierced through here is via a Fey crossing.
I return. I've got the silver.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
What exactly is it for?
You don't speak Naga, do you?
No, I speak Common, Undercommon, Elvish, and a sign language.
Malrin smirks to himself and says, Raujin, you are honest to a fault. I have never met somebody else who speaks Naga. And with that, I will start saying in Naga a pattern, and you'll see the powdered silver takes a liquid form. And as I expend a spell slot, I create holy water, which I will then put into an empty flask that I have. If you're interested, Bill, 25 gold pieces worth of powdered silver it makes, and a first level spell slot, a cleric or a paladin can make 1 flask of holy water. It does 2d6 radiant damage on a hit.
Nice. That'll come in handy, probably.
Yeah.
So
it will. I have a theory, I'll say to Raujin.
Okay.
And I'll pull out my dagger from my boot, and I'll measure the blade of my dagger against the size of the bowl. I'll say this, at the very least, if it's anointed in holy water, should be able to rule out what it is that has sent this entity through what I believe to be the plane of bleeds, much like you described to us in the first instance. I wish to remove the possibility of it being devils, demons, or the undead, and taking a stab at the vine with a dagger coated in this, because of the residual filth that a creature of the abyss or the hells in particular leaves on something, even if it's through another plane, it should at least narrow down our potential list of enemies.
I almost hope it is one of those things. At least those things I know how to kill.
Absolutely. Now, what I will do, Raujin, with your blessing, as it is your family's ward, is I would like to go back to the site where the vines are, and I would like to try and cut one with this anointed dagger. At least it will confirm what's going on.
I mean, you can't actually get to the tree at the moment anyway, so please, by all means, I'm going to stay here and keep reading.
Ayla, would you like to come on a field experiment with me? I would be most honored as Ayla, the mighty and mighty.
I'll be happy to go, Marlene. We will go and we will test this knife.
Fantastic. Do you want to be Ayla's voice, Mike?
I'll be Ayla's voice, yeah.
Brilliant. And with this, then, we shall set off. We shall be back, Raujin.
Okay, I'm going to do... Would it be intelligence for studying?
Yeah, you can. What specifically are you looking for? I don't know why I went into a different voice then. In a way.
Just, I'm kind of not in a right mind to think of looking for anything particular, so I'm just kind of looking at the books that relate to the history of the forest, starting at the oldest records that we have.
Okay. Okay, so yeah, give me an intelligence roll.
Not my best. But still pretty good. Straight intelligence, because I don't have investigation. So that would be 17.
17. Okay, so you spend a bit of time reading after Morin leaves with Ayla and Jan in tow to see what you can find yourself. It does take you a while as you're reading, but as you go through all the other information, you don't learn anything that you specifically don't already know. It's more of a refreshing your memory. You know a lot about the family history and the history of the grounds of Ashenok, specifically that it was once a very beautiful, thriving woodland, and the area that Ashenok itself has been built in was more of a plain in the middle of that. Your family, when they first came here, were like your grandfather, and I'm assuming would it be a generation prior to that?
Yeah, it's about the current family is maybe going back 4-5 generations.
So you're they had a lot of respect for the lands and the plain that like the field that they decided to build this town in
was already there.
Was already there. It wasn't they didn't knock down any of the trees to build every tree that's been chopped and created processed into something else has been replanted, and the forest itself has actually thrived and grown a lot more since your family took over these lands, and there's always been something a little magical about it. You read stories, and it doesn't happen very often, but you read stories about fairies that have been spotted, sort of like flying through the streets and trying to stay out of sight of people. But this is where they've seen them before. There's flowers which have grown around the lands, which no botanist or flower expert, I guess, has ever been able to identify as anything, and they've been making brand new discoveries that have been happening just here on these lands. It's always been a place of mystery, a place of wonder, and a place of natural beauty. Trying to think what else you would kind of glean from that. I guess that you can probably begin to wonder a little bit more about what Morin is trying to ascertain on this. No one has ever tried to enter the Feywild or Shadowfell from these lands, but from what you read, it's probably not entirely impossible.
Okay, I am going to keep studying until someone tries to grab my attention. Basically, the outside world is dead to me. I'm just going to look for clues.
Last thing, anything that you've noted, any eyewitness accounts of creatures that appear to be Feywild in myth. They all appear to have come from the tree, almost as if that's where they are first seen, if they are first eyewitnessed, and where they are last seen, if people see them disappear. Do with that information what you will. Okay. Let's go back round to... Okay, I will jump to Korvax. Specifically, what are you looking for in your library? What have you been trying to ascertain there?
Well, I had a bit of a prayer to Ayun.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to kind of just ask for a bit of guidance and a bit of help here.
Yes.
Trying to kind of make good on my promise to Ulrich that, I was serious about effectively being her weapon on this plane.
Yeah.
But then I'd have gone to the section which he would have directed me to, and I would start looking into any Feywild or Shadowfell connection.
Mm-hmm.
And then
go on.
Kind of look for references to this type of plant and kind of work from there.
Okay. So, you don't find much information on the type of plants. Its rarity, I think, makes it hard to research. But give me an intelligence roll to see what you do find and discover about the Shadowfell and Feywild, because that is something that's very well documented.
Straight intelligence or anything else?
You can do investigation.
That helps a lot. So 18, 19, 20, 21, 22.
22. Very nice. Okay, so... right, hang on a second. Here we go. I mean, you probably have the DMG, so you probably have extra access to this kind of information.
I haven't been looking, and I won't.
No, that's fine. Because I was just going to say, if you wanted to go back and do information, look at information on this, that's where it is, page 49, about the Feywild. You read. There's an insert in one of the books, written by a paladin known as James Wyatt, who writes about the Feywild and what it's like. He reads, stepping into the portal was like settling into a warm bath, though the chill didn't fade from the air. At first everything muted, the roar of the river around the rocks below, the chirping of the frogs and the crickets on shore, the evening bustle of the town behind him. A moment later, the world erupted into vibrant life. Frogs and night birds sang a chorus, the air was awash with autumn scent. The moonlight painted the flowers in iridescent blue, silver, and violet, and the rushing of the river became a complex symphony. So it kind of describes the Feywild as a beautiful place. As someone stepping into the Feywild from the material plane, the difference that it made, sort of like that urban setting to that very beautiful rural and sort of like forest setting with the animals and things. It appears that anything that would come through, and the information that you're kind of getting is similar to what everyone else has got, but just in a different way. Anything that would pass through from the Feywild into the material plane would need a weak spot to do so. It doesn't just happen. There must be something about the tree, or the area of the tree, that's created a weak spot between the two planes.
Okay. And is there... I mean, I'm willing to put some more time in, and kind of common locations for weak spots or anything along those lines, kind of...
Okay.
Just seeing what else I could...
You get the same sort of... They call them Fey crossings. which are something that are well documented but still rare. They're classed as a sort of rare phenomenon, but people actually seek them out. You do actually find that elven culture, some elves have actually found a way to permanently be able to flit backwards and forwards between the Feywild and the material plane at will. It takes a great deal of magic, but they can do it quite easily. This is something that's well documented within the kingdom. So within the city of Odessa, which is well west of here. So it's something that does exist, but if you wanted to seek that out, you'd have a hell of a journey on your hands. Trying to think now, what else you might find. One thing you do find out is if you were to travel to the Feywild, getting back would result in loss of time. Time moves very differently in the Feywild. So when you head there, when you come back, you could lose days or even weeks of time in the prime material plane. Something to consider.
Okay.
Right. We'll come to Garroth again. And I'm just gonna keep your initiative order, but here's what's happened in the meantime. A good 6 or 7, 8 or more of these lizard men have started coming through the bushes and started attacking you all. You're kind of in the middle of battle with these creatures. Is you're trying to have this conversation with Dosky about evil giraffes, and he's really just trying to slice and get all these lizard men as they appear to be sort of trying to come through this funnel. One of them comes for an attack on you and gets 21. It slashes you across the chest with its scimitar. It made you bleed. You have the opportunity now to retaliate on that one, Garroth. You're rolling an attack.
21.
21 hits. You're covered in lizardman blood. You've probably killed a few more in the time that this has gone on. You've kind of got you in the middle, and Eli and Dosky are either side, just like fighting them off as much as they can, and they're trying to get closer and closer to you as you just seem to be murdering these creatures. Give me a damage.
Is 26 enough to kill him?
Yes. You just.
You should scratch go. And then I'm just like collapse sculling under the axe.
Dosky's just like, okay, you need to join the Ashino Guard because this is actually a little bit fun. He's going to go for a slice. He crits again. Dosky is damn good. He gets his sword, gets one of the lizard folk, and they're probably a good foot taller than he is. Grabs him by the and stabs it like through the neck. You hear it sort of gargle. He pulls the sword back and it sort of drops to the floor. You appear to be filling these guys with confidence. Eli comes again. He kind of moves backwards, gets a bit of distance, pulls out his bow. He appears to be a little bit more proficient with that, and fires off 2 shots. One of them hits, the other one hits. This lizard folk takes 23 points of damage and goes down. They're going to make another attack against Dosky. Misses. The one's going to go on Eli. Misses. Another one's going to go on Dosky. Hits. Gives him 6 points of damage. Eli misses. Right, he's going to 1 on you, 2 on you, Garroth. So as their bits are like fighting, you're like fighting them off. 2 of them coming into you. Swipe their scimitars. That's a 17 to hit.
That actually hits.
Okay, so that is 4 points of damage. I'm assuming you're still raging. Yeah, so that is 4 points of damage. The other one's gonna attack. Oh, they're hitting quite well. Hang on. You're still. Would you have been reckless attacking every time?
Oh hell yes.
So they're rolling with advantage then. It doesn't matter. So that is still a hit. So that's 22 to hit. So that's 11. So 6 points of damage on that one. You can retaliate.
Yep. There's 2 of them, you say?
There are 2 of them, yes.
Oh, yep, 2 attacks. Well, that was 26 to hit.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, no, my bad. That is 21 to hit.
Yeah, that still hits.
And that is a 16 to hit.
16 still hits as well.
Roll
Roll for damage on both of them.
First one is 30 damage.
Okay.
Second one is 28 damage.
Okay, yeah, you just one hit kill both. How do you want to kill them?
just at this point, just brutal slaughter whirlwind of death. I'm just are they still coming? I'm just gonna look at the piles of dead lizardmen around me. They're persistent.
Yeah, they appear to be.
I'm just gonna say, oh god, I just remembered. Right, yeah. After this, we're gonna take all their teeth, right? Because Morlin likes having lizard man teeth.
Oh, okay. you hear Dusky as he's sort of like mid-combat with one of them.
Right, do you need help with that one?
If you've got a moment.
Right. Hello.
He's going to make a swipe at it first. Oh, Dusky. 16, 17, 18, 19 to hit. He finishes it off before you have time to actually come in and do the attack. He goes and sort of slits its throat. It kind of goes, gargles and kind of falls back. You then
give a little sigh, wasting my time.
You then hear that the ground begins to kind of rumble. And in the distance, you see the trees, the leafless trees begin to shake, and out of the shadow and the mist that's kind of beginning to surround the area, you see the silhouettes of... It's a lizard folk, sorry, but much, much taller. Has a very long snout that kind of comes, and as it comes into view, you notice rows upon rows of protruding teeth that kind of come around as almost an alligator crocodile-style face with huge... like bulking arms, each one of them carrying an axe in each one, kind of steps forward, and there's 4 of lizard folk either side of it. They've got the ranged weapons in their hands. They kind of aim them forwards, and this this huge croc folk begins to charge toward you, Garroth. And we'll come back to you in a moment. Morin. I hope you're having fun there, Gareth, killing all these things. Right, Morin, you make your way down to the tree, and you can see it's now heavily guarded. Lots of carts and things have all been brought together, and there's kind of like a makeshift fence that's been put. A lot of the lumber from the lumber yards has been sort of brought in to build a fence around this to keep any civilians or anyone that might get any ideas away from it. It's been branded as a very dangerous site. You approach sort of the main, what would be like the main gate to this, and Commander Lowell is on the sort of stood there keeping a vigilant eye. As you approach, he said, "You're one of the you're one of Ral's Master Whitewood's friends, aren't you?"
Yes, adventuring colleague, friend, main counsel for the intellectual pursuits. Yes, absolutely.
Have you been sent with word on something to do? We haven't really heard much word on what's happening, so I'm kind of hoping that you have some news.
I may have some results in a second. Stand your guard at a decent distance, perhaps where this boundary is. Me and my colleague Aylar here are going to go and test something, just to confirm a theory of mine.
It may be dangerous, but we are men.
Okay. Okay, open the gates. You see just 2 of the other guards. They just take one of the logs and kind of lift it up so that you can get through. You probably could have climbed over it, but it was easier to go under. And then they kind of put it back down. You're now on the inside. Commander Lowell is in there with you, keeping a close eye on what's going on. You're about 20 feet away from the tree itself. The perimeter of this comes the perimeter of the fence that they built comes right around the temple and around the tree. So it gives a good step back so that no one's going to get too close to this. And if it does decide to expand and increase its own area, then it's not just going to immediately crash into the fences that they built.
Okay.
You walk around. You walk about just towards it, and you can see it's not moved. It's not grown any more since the last time you saw it. As the wind blows through it again, you can still hear that as the very rigid and sort of like dry needles, red pinpoint needles on this vine, sort of like hit each other and make this rattling noise. What would you like to do?
The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to hand my shield over to Alar.
Okay, he takes it.
Now, if I shout for my shield, Alar, I need you to throw it to wherever I teleport to.
Regardless of the danger, it will be done.
I appreciate it, my friend. With that, I will draw my dagger from my boot. I will dip it into the first bottle of holy water that I've made.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to walk towards the plant, cast Shield of Faith on myself. And I'm going to, without touching the root, I'm going to attempt to surgically remove a piece with the holy water coated dagger.
Okay. So you take the dagger, and you're not touching it, are you? You're just going to cut it.
I'm just going to cut it.
Okay. So you take the dagger, and you place the blade against one of the stems of the ivy, and you slice through. As you do so, it cuts off, and it falls to the ground. Immediately, it dies, and then kind of evaporates in this dust, this grey, shadowy dust. And give me an intelligence check.
That is a 19.
Okay. You notice immediately that this is a very different effect than what happened from what you observed happening when people were chopping it before. When people were in their panic state and just trying to chop the ivy straight from the tree, immediately after they cut it, it began to grow back. Immediately. It was almost like a chop, and then sort of it began to grow faster and almost doubled. So you notice an immediate difference here. It's not growing back.
With that, then, I will go up to Alar. I will take my shield back, and I will say, Alar, put your sword out in front of me.
I put my sword out in front of him.
And I will coat the entirety of the blade in holy water. And I will say to him,
the tree.
Cut the vines, do not touch the vines with your hands.
I understand. I will do this. But
before you
go, tell none of the women in the town. I do not want their suicides on my conscience.
Don't worry, Alar. I won't.
Okay. Okay. So, you turn back towards the vines. How are you? What are you doing while Alar's going to be chopping the tree, Maureen?
Waiting for a good opening where I can guiding bolt a nice section of it and melt it all at once.
Okay. As you turn and you see that Alar approach the spot where you'd already tried to weaken the vines. Give me a perception check.
22.
22. You notice, and it's been about a minute since you did what you did. You notice just as Ayla is approaching, a slight bit of shadow begin to form on the vine that you cut, specifically on the area that you cut. It begins to form a little quicker, and then you notice the ground begin to bulge slightly as Ayla's walking towards it. Mike, give me a dexterity saving throw for Ayla, please.
16 on dice. I don't know what his dex bonus is, though.
I think it's quite high.
3.
Yeah. So
he'll get 3.
Yeah. So Ayla notices this as well, just in time as the ground begins to bulge, and the vines then come out of the ground, and Ayla manages to dodge out of the way. And from the point where you cut it, it took longer. It took about a minute, but it did grow back and a little bit further out from where you were, a good 5 foot out.
It's now stopped moving again.
Then it stopped again. Yeah.
Interesting. I need to get going, but I will say to Ayla we should go back and report that.
Very well.
So essentially what's happened is, from what you noticed from your experiment, is the vines, from when they were chopped with their ordinary axes, would grow back immediately and twice as much. From what you just did, you cut it with your holy water, or your holy endowed weapon. It took about a minute for it to actually for it to get itself together and then grow back. So there's a time delay.
Was it the same amount? Like, did it double the amount still?
It didn't seem like as much.
Good to know. Okay, yeah, and with that, I will go back towards Valjean and sort of suggest that we report this finding to Camden and the others.
Okay.
Okay. I kind
with
of
that,
step out of my... see you later, Ash.
See you later, Ash. Thank you very much for that. Some excellent stuff there. Thank you very much.
No worries. Take care, guys. Speak to you next week.
Okay. I'll message you later regarding the next board game, mate, by the way.
Cool beans.
Excellent. All right. See you later, Ash. Thank you very much. See you later. Bye.
Bye.
So Maureen will head back to meet up with you guys and sort of report that information. So Valjean, what do you want to do with that information?
Okay, so upon being sort of awakened, if you like, from my almost trance-like state in my studies, and being told this information, I may have an idea. And okay, we need Gareth, we need Korvax, and I've got a really, really stupid plan, but I think it might work. Ayla, Jan, Maureen, let's go find the others. And since I know where Korvax is, I will head to the Temple of Ioun.
Okay. I'll come back to you.
I'm running.
Okay. I'll come back to you in a moment because I'll go to Gareth. So Gareth, as this creature charges at you and runs in with its 2 axes, it goes in for its first attack, and it misses as you manage to dodge out of the way of this. It looks like a great axe, but it's obviously dual wielding these things. It's got massive muscly arms. It's classed as a large creature, so it's it looks like it's dual wielding these rudimentary great axes. First one goes to hit you and misses. The second one also misses as you manage to sort of duck back out of the way of this kind Its eyes kind of twist and turn and look at you, and it kind of snaps in your direction. Dosky and Eli both kind of move backwards and out and almost behind you, but kind of to the sides of you as this creature comes in. Dosky says, I've never seen one of those before. Maybe we should retreat.
I'm just going to look at his thing and just go like, "You've got a lot of teeth. Morland's got to be happy."
So, what would you like to do?
Oh, I'm smacking him.
Okay. You give me an attack roll.
Alright. Well, obviously reckless. 22.
22 will hit. Yeah, roll for damage.
Okay, that's pretty good. That's 31 damage.
31 damage. I mean, it doesn't kill it, but as you come in and you take your axe, you kind of smack it across the face, and a couple of its teeth actually sort of scatter onto the ground. It kind of goes, shakes its head from side to side. It blinks, its eyes kind of blink, a little bit like one after the other rather than simultaneously. As you feels like you've knocked 10 bells out of it. It kind of then turns and looks at you. And then kind of almost gives almost like a growl, but not quite, almost like a guttural
Bonus attack.
Yeah, go for it.
That's good. One of those was a 1, so ignoring that. But that is an 18.
18 will miss as you go for your second attack, and you kind of hit. It lifts its head up out of the way as you go for its head again. It kind of lifts up, and your axe just kind of goes under, misses its neck by a few inches. The lizard folk that are either side of it kind of crouch down almost behind it, using this creature as cover, and they kind of come out with their heavy crossbows and they fire, aiming specifically for one of them's going to aim for Eli, one of them's going to aim for Dosky, and 2 of them are aiming for you. One of them's going to miss Eli, the other one's going to miss Dosky. The one on you, your AC 17, right?
Yep.
Misses, and the other one hits. So that's 19. So you take 1 crossbow bolt to the chest, taking 7 points of damage in the chest, and then the big crocker guy is going to get one of its axes. Well, both of its axes. It's going to attack you twice. 18 plus its pluses. That's 23 to hit you on its first attack. So that is 18 halved. So 9 points of damage. Second attack. That is 16 on the dice, so 21, I think. Do my maths right? Yeah, plus 5, 21. So that is 17 halved. What's 17 halved? I can't do my maths today.
9.
Sorry?
9.
9. Another 9 points of damage. Is it...
I'm actually looking... Well, I'm not... But I lost half of my health over.
Okay, it's going to try and snap at you with its last bite. Oh, misses. It kind of hits you and goes to snap at you, and you kind of step back as it opens its jaw, which comes almost like it could take you out in one bite. And you're a big guy. It opens its jaw quite loud. You see its tongue and all of its rows of teeth. You look at them with both fear and greed as it snaps at you as you step back. It's your turn.
I was worried that you lot weren't any kind of challenge. Let's get to it. And I'm gonna jump in and just wail on him for the helling fun of it. 19?
Yeah, 19 will just hit.
Nope, gotta reroll it. That is 29 points of damage.
29 points of damage. You take your action, you smack it across the head. It kind of knocks, and as it goes, it kind of falls to the ground slightly, and falls onto its hand. It kind of picks itself back up, looking extremely dazed as it kind of waddles around, still kind of holding onto its axes, but only just barely. Yeah.
19, as in, I rolled it.
Oh, it's a crit.
Yeah.
Roll for damage.
That's not bad. That's 31. 31 plus 11 is 41, 42 plus 10. 52 points of damage.
How do you want to do this?
While it's dazed, I'm just gonna do the classic pull my axe down, run in, like grab its jaw, like force its jaw open, and then twist like the top end to the right and the bottom one to the left, which I think is an actual trick for killing crocodile.
Okay.
You like push the jaws in opposite directions, and they snap.
Oof.
Basically at the same time, sort of simultaneously snapping its neck.
Ah, okay. As you do so, and you kind of lift into the air, snap, and then land back on your feet in between these 4 lizard folk who have all got crossbows in their hands. They all look at you as you land, and they hear the snap of the neck of this huge croc folk. And it just kind of, you hear it. And it kind of falls to the ground. The lizard folk still need to load their crossbows as they haven't loaded since their last shots. Look at you. Look at the dead croc. And they're going to leg it. They are running. Would you like... do you have any more of your attacks?
No, I don't have any more attacks spare.
Okay, so Eli and Dosky do. So as they start running, Dosky goes, "They're on the run! Get him!" No, the first shot misses. Second shot misses. They fire their longbows at them, but they manage to disappear into the woods before they have a chance to get them. Yeah, you now have the dead croc guy and several dead lizard folk on the ground. Dosky goes, "Oh, that ought to get him running. You're quite handy to have around."
Yeah, well, yeah, it wasn't bad. I'm used to fighting like this. We killed like a whole bunch of them. Like, it was really fun at one time because they were on this big ice bridge that was like over this like really big drop fall. And they all surrounded me and they were like, "Hey, we're gonna kill you." And then I smashed the ice bridge, and they all fell to their deaths. It was great.
That sounds epic. I'm not even gonna lie. I mean, and as you're having this conversation, it's all calm down, and you notice two other guards sort of coming up. They look around, they're like, "What the hell happened here?" And it's Dosky just goes, "This guy happened, but shift change." He just rubs his hands together. He says, "You come in." He's like, Eli's like, "Yeah, I still feel a bit woozy from the dart, so I think I should probably get some sort of medical attention." Sorry, Dosky goes to the people that are changing over and just says, just make sure that this thing came out of there. We've never seen one of these before, so keep an eye out for those, and maybe do a bit of clear up as well, because we're on break. And
yeah, and one last thing, keep an eye out for giraffes.
Yeah, apparently they're pretty scary, giraffes.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
And I'm gonna walk back. I'm gonna walk and have a chat with Dosky.
Okay. So all right. So as you're walking back, Dosky's like, "Oh man, I mean, you are incredible in a fight. That was amazing."
Well, I'll get that. I mean, it wasn't that bad. I mean, it was better than nothing. But it was a reasonable fight. It was better than standing around watching a fucking tree. That's for sure.
I mean, that's. I'm going to be doing that in about an hour. I will be on duty on that tree soon. We've got duty's duty,
Yeah. I got a question for you, because I think I saw you earlier, right? You were delivering food to Raujin's sister.
Oh yeah, Rolan. Yeah. Yeah, she's all right. She's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's just that what? Okay, let me understand this. I've seen a lot of things, and you've stood there with me, killing stuff, and you weren't bad. You know what? You were pretty good. You were getting a few kills in there. I mean, wasn't exactly tough, but it's what it is. Like, you know, we had a fight. It was a good fight.
Oh,
What
thanks.
the fuck are you scared of Raojin?
Screw you.
I don't mean it wrong, because like Raojin's like my teammate and he is pretty good in a fight. But what the fuck, man? I mean, like,
I guess I'm not scared of him, really. It's more, I respect him, I guess. You know.
Well, I mean, I respect him, but you know, I still punch him in the dick on occasion.
Oh, you're braver than I. But I guess it's more of a situation like the Whitewoods, and you know they're obviously like the nobles, and you know I got this opportunity to work with it, you know, to work alongside his sister. You know, I think she's pretty cool, but obviously it's kind of like that situation where you know you can't like date the sister of the brother that doesn't approve of you. It's like, you know, I think Camden, sorry, Mr. Whitewood, Lord Whitewood, sorry, he would be easier to win over than Raljin, I think. You know, Raljin, he seems pretty protective of his sister.
Right, I'll tell you this, right? That girl, like, I was there when they delivered the food and stuff, right? I was wondering where you were, right?
She was?
She's interested in you, yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, so maybe you should fucking buck up and actually stand up to Raojin in this situation. Maybe he'll fucking respect you.
You think so?
Yeah, you want my help.
I mean, you're definitely a big help in a fight, and if you're able to help me with my social skills as much as you were able to help me in a fight, then yeah, absolutely, yeah, let's do this.
Right, we've got an hour, is it?
Well, that's how long. Well, it'll take about half an hour to get back, and then you know, yeah, we get an hour's break, and then yeah. Well, then I've got to be on the tree.
Well, at which point I want to. Well, I'll tell you what. We'll do this another time. Like, you meet up with me, like in a forest or something, and I'll teach you how to be a man.
All right, you're on. Thank you.
Right.
Eli's just kind of walking by and saying, "All right," just walking as he's going on. It's like, no one pay attention to me. Just injured. So yeah, you can have that conversation with Dosky as you're heading back. It takes a bit of time, half an hour. You head back. Dosky's going to go and sort of rest, and before he has to be on tree duty. Where would you like to head, Garroth? Are you going to meet up with the others?
Well, I'll just follow Dosky to back to the base, and see if it's, you know, actually, I will possibly need a little bit of a sit down, and you know,
short rest.
I'll go to the bar.
Go to the bar. Okay. So we come back to everyone else. So this is all happening simultaneously. So everyone else, you head to the Temple of Ayun, where Korvax has been doing some reading regarding the whole situation. Gets a lot of the similar information that you've already sort of like gathered. So yeah, you all gather together. What would you like to do?
I run in. I know full well about the silence issue, and I also know full well that it is virtually impossible to meet her standards, so I'm not going to bother trying. But I do keep my voice low so as not to disturb anyone else.
Mm-hmm.
Korvax!
Hey there, Korvax. Are you muted, Korvax?
That's what I imagine. His head up and goes.
Yeah.
Korvax!
What?
I think I know. I think I have a plan where we can get to the root of the problem. Pardon the pun. So we need to go. We need to get my dad. I need to explain everything. I want you all here, even Garroth, because if I'm right, we're going to be going on a trip real quick.
Okay. Phil, I dropped you a message. Did I get anything else?
Unfortunately, wouldn't be anything else you'd be able to ascertain. Unfortunately, the divine favor and things like that wouldn't come until you got your paladin.
Oh no, it's more just anything else I could have got. Okay, yeah, no problems. I'll close the book. I've made some notes. I'll stuff the notes.
Yeah.
Into my pocket and.
I mean, I would give you other things, but I feel like I'd be sort of like over giving information that's you've kind of. Do you like when you talk to NPCs in a game and they keep repeating the same thing over and over again?
No, that's fair. Okay, I'll just head out with Raljin then.
Okay, so
I'll listen to Echo. He's just been lurking on the top of one of the bookshelves asleep.
I go running, kind of forgetting that Korvax's legs and Morin's legs aren't as long as mine. Just
okay. I'll
I'll try and keep up for about, I don't know, 10 seconds, then I'll just go, fuck it.
Okay. You all get as far, you all get to, I'm assuming, do you pick Gareth up on the way?
We don't know where he is.
You don't know where he is. So, Gareth, you're still drinking in the bar, drinking some triple giant slayer.
A free giant killer.
You get one on the house, but then you have to pay for the rest. So everyone, you all get to the house, back to the to the meeting room where everyone is. How are you approaching the meeting room this time, Raljin? Okay,
so I kind of forget my manners, which is really bad for me. But I just burst open the door, kind of like push the door open, and I have a plan.
Coda, who was stood at the door, kind of goes, ah! You almost knock him on his ass, because he was kind of like stood, not guarding the door, but just in front of the door.
Sorry, master.
Careful, please. Camden kind of, like, who's sat there, who's kind of got his head in his hands, and who's, Vinvi was talking, you kind of interrupted him. Says, what is it, Raljin?
Okay, so you know the stories, the folk tales about seeing like fairies and other fey wild creatures in the town at night, and I was doing some research, and it's possible that there are portals, and
slow down. Take a breath.
The portal is most likely at the tree. Oh. Now I know we can't get to it currently, but Morin has discovered that attacking the vines with holy water doesn't stop its growth, but it does slow its growth. We might be able to create a passageway long enough to get to the tree, and then use the portal to find the cause of the growth of the infection, and deal with it at the source.
As you finish speaking, Vinvia kind of steps and says, "Holy water. Why didn't I think of that? Of course. Morin, you said you've already tested this theory.
Yes, that is right.
Man, I thought he was Italian. Come on, try harder.
Sorry. Yeah. Sorry. Yes, that is right.
Thank you. And it was a permanent solution?
No. It merely slowed the regrowth, but it should be long enough for us to slip through.
I like how both you and Mike both go from Italian to Welsh when you try to do the accent. It's great.
Well, it's either that or I just do Mario.
I know. It's me.
It's me. I'm Edwin.
That's very interesting. If we could create enough of it. I wondered why you wanted the silver. Very clever. We could create enough of it. It might be able to create a passageway through. Does the growth rate, is it similar, or what happens when it grows back? This is very important things. The town could be put in danger with this, so we need to make a surgical strike if this is going to be our plan of action.
I don't remember what Morin said. What you told Morin, sorry.
Okay. So from what you told, from what Morin was able to ascertain that the growth, it grows back slower, so it doesn't grow back until around about a minute. So if you were to cut through it, you'd have a minute before it comes back on you, and it grows back in almost as much, but not as much. So what Morin would explain is that the rate of growth is not as much like that. So Vinviad kind of says, right, then we will do it. We will create some holy water. We'll plan an attack. We'll get our team together, and your dad just kind of says, we can't even get a hold of any of them. Thunderfoot's nowhere to be seen. Elsha's busy with other things, and
we can go.
Your mother kind of looks. You get a look from your mum, and then she looks at your dad and nods. Camden, your dad, just goes, No, I won't put you in danger. Not with this. Vidiana, we're not putting our son in danger on this.
Dad, this is my home.
I know that. But you've been through so much with what's gone on already, and
you'd done more by the time you were my age.
Okay. Let's say that we let you go. Vidiana just kind of looks almost like she's made up her mind on this. She wants to let you go. You can tell that just by the look on her face. He says, let's say we let you go, and something happens to you in there. How are we supposed to live with that? We'll have lost our home, and we'll have lost our son. I couldn't live with that. There's a reason I gave up the adventuring life.
What alternative is there, Dad? You can't go in at half strength. You haven't adventured in years. Do you even remember most of the skills you used to have back then? I mean no disrespect, but
Coda steps in and says, he's not wrong, Camden. That bowing arm it's a little rusty. No disrespect. Camden just says, it's the years of chopping wood. Okay. He looks up at Yarn, Morin, Korvax. Garroth's not there, but Ayla as well. So, do you think you all have what it takes? Can you do this? Kind of looking at everyone but Raljan at the moment. I don't know if you're on mute, Korvax, or you're not answering. But
just gonna be smirking.
Okay, fine. Vinvia, make sure they're kitted out for this. I don't want them to be going in and then having nothing to protect them. Coda, you were working on a bow, correct? Coda said, yeah, for Ayla. It's nearly finished. I need an hour. If you want me to rush it. Says, yep, get it done. Make sure it's enchanted with something, though. He says, that'll take more time. He says, I don't know. Do something. Anything. It's like, oh, okay. And Coda
suggestion, if I may, if you're making holy water, it might be good to have maybe a vial or two each, if that stuff seems to have the effect on this side.
Yeah. Vinvir kind of stops and says, I'm going to stop you there. I can create as much holy water as you need, as much as you can carry, and you'll be able to carry quite a lot. He takes his bag off his side and goes, God, I'm going to have to repack this on my other one. And he turns it inside out and just loads of just like wizard's components and all sorts of stuff just like drops, and books and everything just drops all over the floor, and it just goes, turns it back the other way around and says, okay, I'll fill this for you.
What's this? Letters from Illyria, the Balthazar Harkinson story.
Would you mind not going through my personal things?
Sorry, I've just not read that one.
Right, okay, here, take this, and he throws it at you, Ralgin.
Thank you.
You can keep it. I've got another at home. That one's a little old. I've got a brand new one, still in packaging. Right, Morvin, and he looks at Morvin and says, you had the ability to create that holy water. Can you do that anymore? He'll get an answer. Yes, I could probably do it a few more times. Good. Right. We've got about an hour or so to prepare. So how about we all make sure that you've got everything that you need. The stores, we have potions and things. In fact, he kind of almost dives into his pile of stuff. Okay, and just flings 2 bottles of potions, just chucks them behind him. One goes at you, Korvax, the other one goes at Alar. You have 2 potions of greater healing. That kind of get chucked at you. So he says, take those, I don't need them now. Yes, get yourself kitted out, and yes, adventure! I love all this stuff. It does make me miss it. Right, let's go. And with that, I think actually I'll end tonight's session. with you preparing to enter the Feywild. And that's
was we supposed to figure that out that quickly?
Actually, you did some good roundabout ways of figuring that out, so that was really good. I'm really impressed. So yeah, I was kind of hoping you'd figure it out in this session because I wanted to end the session on you getting to it. So yeah, that was excellent. Well done, guys. I was really pleased with that one. And thank you to everyone that's watched us tonight. Hope you enjoyed the session. It was very much backwards and forwards to all the sorts of different things that were going on. But no, I really enjoyed it. It kept everyone on their toes.
If you are still watching, we would really appreciate anyone you'd think would like it. Let them know.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah. Post on Twitter that you enjoy watching the show, and or anywhere else, make recommendations.
And if you don't enjoy it, just lie.
Tell people you enjoy it, and then they will be led into a false sense of security. Yeah. We're literally just D&D players that really enjoy, we enjoy what we do, and we just kind of hope that other people enjoy watching and listening to us. So yeah, thank you for sticking around and watching. And yeah, it's time for us guys to call it crits. And yeah, we'll see you all. We'll see you next week. Thank you very much. See you later.